Listen to me, feel I'm one of a kind. Is it all? The king of the road. And I don't know when I was that song. And I'm always on the run. Loading up the gear from empty balls. Keeping those clean and won't get by. Younger brother, come, you wait and see. Don't forget your coffee and your hot dog tea. They say, the king of the road. And I don't know when I was that song. And I'm always on the run. He said, the king of the road. And I don't know when I was at home. And I'm always on the run. He said, sail man, I'm the king of the road. Drove 1,000 miles with 1,000 jokes. He had dark yellow teeth and bloodshot eyes. Listen to me, feel I'm one of a kind. He said, the king of the road. And I don't know when I was that song. And I'm
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Verdane TV. Here for the third championship here in 4 nights' time at Verdane TV. Very excited to work with the RBR Maritime group here for the David R. Macfarlane Enterprises 250 at Five Flags Speedway, and championship implications are in the air and lots of money on the line here tonight. Championship contenders up front going to be Matthew Barkhouse and Brett Suggs. Matthew Barkhouse pretty much just have to finish in front of Brett Suggs. Brett Suggs has to finish 2 spots ahead of Barkhouse to tie it and 3 positions ahead of him to win it. Going to be a long race here tonight, and very excited to follow the championship, follow the race here at Five Flags. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. coming at you from the production trailer, and joined by my side, returning after a week on the road, Kyle Young. Kyle, good to have you back, brother.
Good to be back, Paul. Good evening, everybody. Ready to call a championship race here at the Five Flags Speedway. Going to be a very lengthy but a very important 250 laps here tonight at the half-mile short track down in Pensacola, Florida. Championship on the line here tonight. We know how strong these competitors are. Going to give them one last opportunity to show us what they've got for their best. And at the end of the night, someone's going to walk away with a very big trophy and a championship.
Taking a quick look at the points, Matthew Barkhouse coming in as the leader, and Brett Suggs a close second place. We made mention 2 spots separates those 2 drivers from that championship trophy. Tanton Wooldridge in the 3rd position. Mike Alexander is in 4th. Travis Roma 5th. Dave Cassidy 6th. John Fitzpatrick 7th. Nicholas Noggle 7th. Mike Rhino 8th. And Craig Tully is going to round out the 9th position there. Looks like there may very well be a double up on that, but no harm, no foul there. We know the championship's going to come down between Barkhouse and Suggs. We've got the first driver on track, getting ready to take time here this evening. The number 98, the Sheriff Kyle Gammon, bringing that 98 to the stripe, and we're going to see what he's got here for the lap number 1. Getting the business stuff out of the way. We're doing the qualifying challenge, the the pole award is going to be an extra $10, sponsored by Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing, and be sure to check their website out. They got some koozies and hats, all sorts of cool stuff over there. The rubber wristbands as well. 16,385, lap number 1 for Kyle Gammon, and there's going to be a bunch of drivers going to be going for the Vino's Truck and Auto Pole Award, which is now up to $110. And we have heard from race officials that there is no limit here tonight. Going to be a 965, a little bit slower on lap number 2 for Kyle Gammon. So good enough for the pole after one driver. Going to kick it over to John Fitzpatrick there in the number 78, Kyle.
So John Fitzpatrick rolling his way onto the racetrack, a very strong competitor here with the RBR Maritime iRacing Group. Come off of turn number 4 and take the green flag for his first of 2 timed laps here. I believe, Paul, this is probably the first time that I've done a race seeing him with his new switched-up paint scheme, going with an all-white number 78 ride. He's usually been in an all-black car, so nice to see a little bit of a change up there. And lap number 1 for John Fitzpatrick, going to be good enough to go to the pole. He will run a 16.321, edges out Kyle Gammon by a little over half a tenth of a second. He'll come off for turn number 4. For now, see the checkered flag, slaps the outside wall, and that is going to void that second lap. So the first lap is going to be the one that counts. To the pole for John Fitzpatrick, 16.321.
Taylor Layton bringing that 27 machine out, third driver on track, and already on lap 1 on the backstretch, heading on down into turn number 3. Pretty strong showing so far, looking right up onto that apron, comes out, nice exit on turn number 4, lap number 1 in the books. Going to be a 5:06 P3 currently, and looks like so far we've already got an early trend. Whoa, a little bit loose there, and that's going to be into the grass and smacking the wall. Lap number 2, null and void. Any kind of contact that you make in iRacing is going to nullify that qualifying lap, and that'll put Taylor Layton in third.
Next on the Speedway to qualify, the number 8 machine of Nicholas Noggle. Nicholas Noggle, a competitor in real-world super late model racing, taking his talents to the sim racing world here tonight. Lap number 1 as he crosses the stripe, going to be a 16.396 to put him in position number 3 down the backstretch and into turn number 3 on the final attempt. Rolling a little bit higher up off that bottom line, checkered flag in the air. Lap number 2 will be faster and to the top. Nicholas Noggle, 16.308, goes to the pole as the 4th car out on the track.
Derek Yates on the number 19. He's going to try and take a stab at the qualifying. There you see him on the backstretch, heading on down into turn number 3 on his warm-up, or lap number 1, as it were. And close times up in the top, all in the 0.3 of a second bracket there. Lap number 1 for the number 19 in the books. That's going to be a 3:34. Good enough for P3 right now. He's going to get after it on lap number 2 and see what he can get in that number 19 ride. And you see him there coming out of turn number 4, aiming for that wall, not quite kissing it, but getting real close. Lap number 2 in the books. That's going to be a 3:34. Nope, just kidding. 5:60 for the 19. A little bit slower. Good enough for P3 currently.
Next on the track to qualify in car number 42 is Mark Williams. Mark Williams coming across the stripe here to complete his first lap. He is currently slowest at his 16.538 out of 6 cars. Looking to improve. I believe he scraped that backstretch wall there, Paul. I think this is going to cancel out lap number 2. We'll see what happens here at the line. And it does not. He goes faster, may have been just bottoming out, 16.382. So Mark Williams will go to 4th.
Danny Mitchell, number 29, crosses the stripe there, getting ready to take a lap number 1. Nice and smooth there through 1 and 2, right in that bottom grace. Loses the back of the race car just a little bit. That's going to cost him precious tenths of a second. So more than likely going to try and run a second lap here. We'll see what lap 1 ends up being. Crosses the stripe there, and looks like a 984, good enough for 7th out of 7. So we're going to try and pick up a little bit of time on second lap number 2. And you see another little bit of a wiggle there halfway down the backstretch. That car sets up a little bit on the loose side for Danny Mitchell, number 29. Crosses the stripe for lap number 2, and that's going to be a bit quicker, 4:38, good enough for 6th position.
7th car on the Speedway now, driving the number 88 machine. This is Caden Tufts, Caden Tufts in car number 88 on the Speedway for his first of 2 timed laps. Looking very smooth down the bottom of 3 and 4 there. He'll wash it up. Oh, big slide there coming off at turn 4. Gathers it up 16.343. Good enough for position number 4 despite the slide. Let's see if that slide hurts his lap number 2 at all. He'll drive it back down into 3 and 4. A little bit higher that time, trying to prevent the slide. Coming to the checker. Wiggles just a little bit, not as bad, and slows down to a 16.431. 16.431 is his second time, so lap number 1 will count, and he sits in 4th.
And there you see John Byron in the number 57 already coming out of turn number 2. Looks like he's holding a pretty wheel, heading down into turn number 3. Just about a half a car width up off of the white line there. Nice late apex, crosses a stripe to lap number 1. Let's see what the time is, a 5:02. So he's going to try a little bit harder here on lap number 2, see if he can get a little bit quicker. Currently in the 8th position out of 9 starters, or 9 qualifiers so far. And there you can see, shoots up towards the wall, crosses the line for lap number 2. That's going to be a 4:21, a little bit better, bumps him up to the 7th position.
Up next on the racetrack in car number 67, this is Wade Craswell. Wade Craswell in the 67 machine, coming around here to complete his first of 2 timed laps. Watching that outside wall, he gets it, so that'll knock out lap number 1. No time there. He'll have to keep it out of the wall here on lap number 2. Not a very good line there in 1 and 2, so this is going to be a bit of a troublesome lap for the 67 of Craswell. Hopefully he can keep it off the fence coming off of turn 4 this time. Looks like he will, and at the line, it will be a 16.472. 16.472, good enough for position number 9 out of 10 qualifiers.
So you see Brad Hayes on track, the number 17 car. He's going to be coming out of turn number 2. There you can see just shooting right up towards that wall and coming back down. Almost a circle, a full circle here at Five Flags Speedway. You're not going straight for very long. A lot of turning, a lot of left-hand motion in that steering wheel. Lap number 1 on the board. Going to be a 3:56, good enough for P5 right now. And there you can see a great exit off of turn number 2. Gets a good entry in 3 and 4, and you can see just shoots right up towards that wall, aiming for it, almost like he's got the wall in his crosshairs. Lap number 2 going to be a 3:39, a little bit quicker, puts him up to P4.
Up next in car number 5, this is Craig Tully. Craig Tully in the brightly painted white and yellow number 5 machine. Wiggles there just a slight bit off of turn number 4, but it's not going to matter because he goes to the top. New pole sitter Craig Tully, 16.261. Got that car out of shape going into turn number 1 here on this second lap, so I believe this is just going to be a consolation lap. 17.108, so very, very slow, but new pole sitter Craig Tully, first driver to break into the 16.2s.
That seemed like one of those things where he looked down at the stopwatch, and the crew chief gave him the time and got himself just a little bit excited and lost concentration for a little bit, but new pole sitter for the number 5. But here comes a good challenge on the number 75 crossing the stripe here, Mike Alexander, lap number 1 in the book. That's going to be a 2:49, new pole sitter just like that. And there you see Mike going to try a lap number 2 to see if he can best that time once again. These drivers very, very quick, and you can see shooting right up towards that wall, hits the crossed checkered flag there. 1:95, blistering lap time for Mike Alexander. Magic Mike in the number 75 sitting on the pole.
So some of the front runners here in this series starting to go a little bit later in the running order, and we're starting to see some faster times click off. Up on the racetrack next in car number 34, this is Mike Rhino. Rhino comes across the stripe here for lap number 1, 16.973. Drops right down to the bottom of the track looking for a faster lap this time by holding that bottom line the best that he can off of turn 4. Checkered flag flies, and his lap time will be a 16.248. He will join Mike Alexander on the provisional front row. He will start second for the moment. And coming up next, Paul, looks to be the 30th, Keith McClellan.
The Bud Light machine of always entertaining Keith McClellan, Daddy Mac as he's been called by Mike James on the rock. Looks like he's crossing the line at lap number 1 in the books, 2:31, so he's going to knock Mike Rhino back 1 spot temporarily, holding on to that P2 position with the 2:31, and he's going to try and better that time just a little bit. He's got a nice line coming out of turn number 4, crosses the stripe Looking down at the stopwatch, it's going to be 3:35. A little bit slower, but good enough for P2.
Dave Cassidy on the clock now here in car number 13. First lap just about complete. The run into turns 3 and 4 here. Come to the white flag and set that initial lap time at a 16.365. 16.365, good enough for position number 10. One more opportunity to try to improve that. Down the back straightaway he goes. Looks like he might be a little bit more conservative on the entries, trying to drive through the turn faster instead of driving it in deep. And at the line, he'll improve by a few hundredths. A 16.324 will put him up to 7th.
One of the Roma Brothers, Travis Roma, number 38 machine. He's going to come out of turn number 2, already crossed the stripe for lap number 1, and holds that car all the way down on the bottom of the apron. Nice line coming out of turn number 4. A little bit of a wiggle there as he exits turn 4, and first lap going to be a 2:44. Good enough for P3. He's going to keep digging, though. He's going to try and get that second lap on the board, maybe get himself a little bit quicker to try and see if he can get up there and beat the time of Keith McClellan and Mike Alexander. Crosses the stripe, lap number 2 in the books. Going to be a 2:52, so almost an identical lap time between laps 1 and 2. First time we've seen that so far, Kyle.
And on the track now, one of your championship contenders coming into tonight's event, the 33 machine of Brett Suggs. He will come off of turn number 4. I believe this is lap number 1 going in the books, 16.846. He's setting up for a better lap number 2. Took a high line in 3 and 4 to try to build up some momentum. Let's see if that Toyota Supra is going to do just that. Off of turn number 4, checkered flag is in the air. Lap time is a 16.187 to the top goes Brett Suggs, new pole sitter, at a 16.187.
Not so fast. His other championship contender, Matthew Barkhouse, going to cross the stripe and get his lap, get his warm-up lap set up. And these two drivers, the 33 of Brett Suggs, the 15 Matthew Barkhouse, gunning for that championship, and definitely want to be able to represent the RBR Maritime iRacing Group here in Season 3 with that trophy. Crossing the stripe for lap number 1 to 15. Going to be a 5:14. Currently 19th, last in the field that's qualified so far, so might have been just a little bit of a throwaway there. You can see really skating the back tires of that car for 3 and 4. Definitely going to be a little bit quicker as he crosses the stripe for lap number 2. Looking at the stopwatch, 185, new pole sitter by 3/1000ths of a second.
The lap times are getting faster. The competition's starting to rise. Ashton Tucker, can he knock off Matthew Barkhouse for the pole in his number 2 machine? First lap about to go up onto the scoreboard. Let's see what it is. He slides there on the front stretch, 16.350. That slide may hurt him on this second lap. That is good enough for position number 14. Can he improve? Coming off of turn number 4, checkered flag will hit the air in lap 2's time for the 2 into the wall. It is voided out. So the 16.350 is what he will have to work with. He's going to have some work to do tonight, Paul, starting back in 14th at the moment.
That's going to be fun to watch to try and see how quickly Ashton Tucker is going to move that 2 machine up through the field. But on the track right now, Bandolero driver Young Tanton Woldridge on lap number 1 there in the 56 machine coming into turn 3 and 4, and you can almost see the car wants to turn more than it is. Definitely a loose setup under that car. Lap number 1, crossing the stripe at 275, going to be good enough for P8 so far. Going to try and get that up better just a little bit here on lap number 2. Already in turns 3 and 4 is going to come out, shoot for that wall, as most of these drivers do, real close to the outside wall, but not quite there. 444 is going to be for lap 2, so good enough for P8.
The 83 machine, Chris Roma, will be qualifier number 22 here tonight. He comes across the stripe and takes the green flag to start his qualification run. Pretty smooth looking ride through turns 1 and 2. Brings it up to the back stretch wall, then dives right back down to the bottom of the track in turns 3 and 4. You'll see the white flag. Lap number 1 will go in the books. It is a 16.285, good enough for 9th, and he is going to slide big time in turn number 1, and that is going to eliminate the opportunity to run a faster lap number 2. So for the moment, a 16.285 for Chris Roma. And I believe, actually, it looks like he may be the last driver to qualify here, Paul, so he may be all set.
It appears that is an accurate assessment. Brandon Campbell, Brent Roy, both in the server, but they are race officials here this evening, and I believe we're still waiting on an appearance from the 89 of Conrad Murphy. Still waiting for him to get to the car, but right now it looks like Matthew Barkhouse, championship contender, going to be starting on the inside of the other championship contender, Brett Suggs. So the cream always rises to the top here in iRacing, especially here at the RBR Maritime group. Barkhouse and Suggs, both championship contenders, starting right there on the front row. How better of a way to end the season here, Kyle, than to have the two championship contenders starting up front?
Would you really expect anything less? The championship fight coming down to the front row here, only separated by 0.003 of a second. Now the fun part will be to see if either one of those drivers decides to take the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award challenge and drop to the back of the field. It is a 250-lap race tonight, Paul. Much more laps than what we have seen throughout the majority of this season, kind of celebrating the end of the season with a bit of a longer race. But I got to be honest, even though it is a longer race, I would be shocked to see either one of those two drivers go to the back. I can't imagine they want to risk getting into early race troubles, having to work their way through the field.
Absolutely, and we did hear from race officials earlier on tonight that the Pole Award Challenge usually stops at 5th place, but we're going to keep going through the field here tonight. Whoever decides to end up taking that Pole Award Challenge, if we can take the 22nd driver, Taylor Layton, if he wants to take the Pole Award Challenge, if it gets all the way back to him and he's able to come back and win tonight, that's going to give him $110 to put into his pocket. So very, very exciting news here, and we wait to see just who is going to take that position. But to get some of the business out of the way, no quick repairs here this evening. Whatever damage you have to fix on pit road with the virtual hammers. And being that this is a little bit of a longer race here tonight, they get 2 sets of tires in addition to the set of tires that are on the car currently, rather than the 1 set of tires. So definitely going to play a factor in the strategies tonight for sure, and really looking forward to 250 laps here at Five Flag Speedway.
Indeed, Paul, should be a very fun race to close out this RBR Maritime iRacing League Championship. Just waiting for race officials to kick this over to the race. They're trying to figure out who is going to take the pole award, and just waiting to see what is going to happen and get things ready for the grid here for tonight's season finale. These drivers, no strangers at all to VEIN TV or to this short track scene. We've seen a lot of great racing action throughout this season, and another RBR Maritime iRacing season comes to a close here tonight after 250 laps of competition. Looks like we're going to have 22 cars to start this season finale. Should be a good one, Paul. Five Flag Speedway, always a very entertaining racetrack. Of course, everybody knows this is the home of the Snowball Derby. We're racing the same cars. Really, the only difference between the Snowball Derby and this is that we're running 50 laps shyer than what the Snowball Derby is. And, of course, it's the end of February and not December.
You're absolutely right, and we can already say voting closed a little bit earlier, about 2 hours ago, on the old VEIN TV Facebook page for the Xander Sign Best Looking Car of the Season. A $20 gift there from Xander Signs, who sponsored that Best Looking Car award. And, well, the top 3 drivers, the 08 of Noggle, comes in third with 112 votes, or likes as it were, on the Facebook page, and we are combining the likes and the hearts. They do equal the same amount. P2 is going to be Mike Alexander, the number 75, the R&R Kingsman car. He comes home second with 163 votes, and coming home with the victory, the Xander Signs Best Looking Car Award is in fact going to be that number 15 Celtic Air Services car of Matthew Barkhouse with 191 votes. And we can go through Facebook, lots and lots of votes over there on the Facebook page. But congratulations to Matthew Barkhouse coming home with, his own $20 bill.
It's funny how that all works. He puts the money up and ends up pocketing it himself. So there's one award already in the bag for Matthew Barkhouse tonight. Of course, looking for the championship glory here tonight as well. I would think he probably would trade that in to win the championship tonight, but of course, if you can have it both ways, why not have both of them? And now that we see that the grid just about ready to get set here, That is exactly what Matthew Barkhouse is going to do. Paul, we are just a few minutes away from getting this underway. Championship night for the RBR Maritime iRacing League.
And with Matthew Barkhouse starting there on the pole, waiting for my timing and scoring to update itself here. I might have to have you go through the grid real quick here, Kyle. But that 15 wins the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing Pole Award, so that's another $10. Kyle, his payday's almost as much as ours.
A very good night thus far for Matthew Barkhouse, and we haven't even seen the green flag yet. So, as mentioned, Barkhouse and Brett Suggs, they will be on the front row, starting in positions 1 and 2. Right behind Matthew Barkhouse is his brother, Mike Alexander, in car number 75. And then you have Keith McClellan in the 30 machine in position number 4. Travis Roma in car number 38 will complete your top 5 starters, and Mike Rhino in the 34 machine will start in position number 6. 7th place starter is the number 5 of Craig Tully, and on Tully's outside in the 56 machine is Tanton Woolridge. Inside of row number 5 in car number 83 is Chris Roma, and the 08 machine of Nicholas Noggle is going to complete your top 10.
All these drivers getting lined up here on the front stretch, getting ready to roll here for the David R. Macfarlane Enterprises LLC 250 Championship night here at Five Flags Speedway, crowning a champion. And there you can see on the front row, Barkhouse and Suggs, the 2 championship contenders. Suggs has to finish 3 spots ahead of Mike Alexander to win the tiebreaker and win the championship. All Matthew Barkhouse has to do is come home ahead of Brett Suggs, and he wins, locks in that championship. And he does, in fact, have the tiebreaker in his back pocket, which is going to be the highest finishing drop race. I believe Matthew Barkhouse has a 4th place finish throughout the season as his lowest, where Brett Suggs has a 7th place finish, which is absolutely phenomenal over the past 5 races, where you can come home and say that your worst finish in 5 races is 4th place. That's a pretty phenomenal season.
It really is. The consistency is what matters the most when winning and competing for a championship, and to drop a 4th place finish, as you said, is just truly remarkable. Shows how competitive that Celtic Air Services Andersign number 15 machine has been throughout this entire season. He gets to lead the field to the green flag, and he's hoping that at the end of this 250 lap contest he will have a championship to call his own. You know how hungry Brett Suggs is going to be as well, Paul. He was in this position last season, came up short, did not clinch the championship. He doesn't want to be the bridesmaid once again. He wants to be the first man at the top of the standings this time by. He's got some work to do, but we know that he's capable of doing it. He's a very competitive driver. He has a very fast car underneath of him. This should be a very entertaining and very exciting championship fight to watch throughout this final 250 laps.
Lining them up 2 by 2 as we take the caution lap here to get everybody scrunched up here. Did we get any confirmation? There we go. We got a driver dropping to the back on the outside. Is that the 34 of Mike Rhino, I believe?
That is correct. Mike Rhino will sacrifice position number 6 on the grid. He will take the VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge. If he can come all the way through this field and win tonight's race, he will pocket $110. It's time to start the process of crowning a champion. Pace car is on pit road. It's about time to go green. Pace car is off, green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at the Five Flags Speedway. Great start for Matthew Barkhouse. He's going to clear for the race lead. He's going to bring his brother Mike Alexander with him. The 75 clears the 33 for 2nd, and they're side by side for 4th on back going into 3.
Single file in the top 3, and that's the best thing that Barkhouse could have is his brother Mike Alexander behind him, in between he and Brett Suggs going for that championship. But look at the bee's nest behind them. Boss man Craig Tully down low in the number 5 car. He's trying to get around Daddy Mac. Keith McClellan there in the 30 Bud Light car. It looks like he's able to get that nose up to the door, but not quite enough to have to get around him. That high side looks like it may very well be the place to be right now, Kyle.
Yeah, McClellan did a great job there fending off the 5 of Craig Tully. Now we're going to go single file for about the first 9 or 10 machines. Actually, looks like even further back than that. First side-by-side battle is between the 19 of Derek Gates and the 98 of Kyle Gammon. That is for position number 14. So the field's single filing out fairly quickly, wanting to log some laps, some racing going on here in the back of the field. Derek Gates on the bottom, Kyle Gammon up on the top side. A little bit of fender damage already to that 19 of Derek Gates, but that shouldn't harm him too much. Oh, Caden Tufts thought about driving it in underneath there, had to back out, could have caused a crash. They'll stay a little cordial there, figure it all out. Gammon's going to lose those couple of spots. Now he's under fire for the 57 of John Byron.
Little door banging, door scraping. John Byron gets up to the door. Doesn't quite have enough to get around him just yet. They go into turn number 1. Still side by side, door to door, bumper to bumper. And it looks like Byron's going to have just enough to make it even again. He gives him another little bit of a tap and gets on by. That's going to get it done. But that may very well come with a receipt later on here tonight. That was kind of a door check there, Kyle.
8 tires turned better than 4 do, and John Byron used every one of those 8 tires to take that position. Kyle Gammon tucks right back in line and trying to get back to that rear bumper of the 57 machine as they watch Caden Tufts and Derek Gates battle for position right in front of them. Tufts is going to take that position over. Gates will fall in line right behind him, and they will set sail. Looks like for the most part here, Paul, the battling is going to subside, and we're going to log some laps here on the Five Flag Speedway.
Drivers given instructions before the race here. It's a long race, and the race officials have no problem handing out any kind of penalties for obnoxious driving or anything like that. So everybody's going to be on their best behavior here for the 250 lapper here at Five Flag Speedway. And you can throw a blanket, or you can throw a chain between those top 3 drivers, and they probably wouldn't even be able to feel it. Bumper to bumper to bumper. Alexander in at second behind his brother Matthew Barkhouse. Brett Suggs still doing his homework right now, it looks like. Just kind of seeing where Matthew Barkhouse is able to run quicker, where he's a little bit slower, and where he may or may not be able to make a mistake later on here tonight.
Lap number 11 going to go into the books this time. Matthew Barkhouse has been leading the entirety of this race. Very marginal lead over his brother Mike Alexander. And like you said, Paul, Brett Suggs right there on the back bumper of the 75 machine. Lots of patience, a lot of calm racing going on here amongst these drivers. Everybody just trying to find a rhythm, see where their cars are working the best, see what they need to improve on, see what they need to do to be successful throughout the remainder of this race. That gap between the 33 and the 38 starting to close up a little bit. Travis Roma starting to reel in the 33 of Brett Suggs. He's bringing Keith McClellan, Craig Tully, and Tanton Woolward with him. A long line of race cars riding around the bottom of this racetrack right now.
How about the paint scheme on the number 33 here, Kyle? Brett Suggs always impressing with the different paint schemes that he's got. I'm a huge fan of his Christmas wrapping paper paint scheme that he ran a few months back. But very, very intriguing design with the purple and white. I'm definitely a fan. He actually painted up the Verdane TV Ray's Energy Drink Super Late model that I like to finish last in a lot with.
Well, fortunately, Paul, Brett Suggs' driving talents are just as good as his painting talents, and while you can't put his art into good success on the racetrack, he can at least do that for you.
Maybe he can paint up we'll get him to paint up the production truck. I think that'd be kind of neat.
Oh, there you go. I like that idea.
Suggs doing a great job holding on to that third position. We made mention he is in that championship hunt with the driver 2 positions ahead of him. Matthew Barkhouse, the number 15, comes in as the championship leader. Best average finish throughout the 5 races so far, and he does in fact hold that tiebreaker. The lowest drop race week that he has is a 4th place compared to Brett Suggs' 7th. So Brett Suggs has some work to do. He does have to finish in front of Matthew Barkhouse by 3 positions in order to break that tiebreaker and come home with the championship here tonight.
Little battle going on behind these guys by a few cars. Tanton Woolridge is trying to get around the number 5 machine of Craig Tully. He is going to do so, and now Tully is under fire by the 83 of Chris Roma. That is going to be the battle for position number 7. Roma's going to have the spot and clear at the line. Now Nicholas Noggle jumps right down to the bottom and continues the freight train going around Craig Tully. Very obvious to tell here, Paul, that this is not a very wide racetrack just yet. Whoa, Noggles pushes up just a little bit, makes a little bit of door contact with that 5 machine. And now David Cassidy's going to go underneath. Going to need some more laps up in that upper groove if it's going to be an option. Craig Tully just dropped 4 spots.
Yeah, tough break for Tully. Moved himself up a little bit further towards the front and lost those positions, getting stuck in the outside there. And a couple of drivers getting on by there. You see Dave Cassidy in the Mike's Bar and Grill number 13 car. That's another good-looking paint scheme in this group. And you can see he's all over the back bumper of Nicholas Noggle in that 08. Trying to get around him, trying to get at least to him to see if he can maybe rattle his cage just a little bit, let him know that he's there. Real close to that inside wall, the 08 was, as you see them skate on by. And great racing so far here. 23 laps in the book. Green, green, green so far.
Makes you wonder, Paul, that if we continue to see this green flag run go on, what the tire strategy is going to be like for these drivers. You made mention that they have 2 sets of tires in the pit, something that they usually don't have in this league, but since it's an extended race, race officials deciding to give them some more rubber in the pits, and that's going to increase the strategy. It's not all just about how hard that you can drive and being fast on the racetrack. You're going to have to manage your equipment tonight, and maybe depending on how the cautions fly, what you do on pit road could have a very big impact on your event. Taking a look here on the screen at some battling going on there. Chris Roma underneath of Keith McClellan. That is for position number 6. Roma going to take it over. Can Noggle do the same thing he did to Craig Tully? He's sure going to try. He's underneath that Bud Light 30, and they're going to race side by side off of turn 2.
Daddy Mac there in the 30 Bud Light car trying to hold on as best he can. He's doing the best job that he can there in about the middle groove, but you can see coming out of turn number 4, loses the back end of that race car just a little bit too loose here this early on in a run, and you can see dropping back. There's Dave Cassidy. He's going to try and move in as the 08 slides up in front of the 30. Barely enough room there to put a piece of paper between those 2 cars, but 13 now side by side at the stripe. Looks like he's going to try and take it here coming out of turn number 2. Craig Tully is right behind the 13, almost right on his back bumper, as well as Ashton Tucker in the number 2. So these drivers starting to kind of freight train the number 30. He's the odd man out this couple of laps here, stuck in the outside.
Saw some great awareness out of Keith McClellan a couple laps ago going into turn number 3. Once Noggle cleared that 30 machine, he wanted to get down and fall in line in front of Dave Cassidy, but was not able to do so. He saw Cassidy driving it in deep. He was able to correct himself, and instead of turning himself off the nose of Dave Cassidy, he just had to sacrifice that spot. Now he's able to get in line behind Cassidy. Craig Tully was not able to continue the train on McClellan, and now Cassidy is underneath Nicholas Noggle for position number 7 here in turn number 4 at the stripe. Looks like Noggle's going to hang on just by a little bit, but Dave Cassidy using that bottom side to his advantage. He's got the advantage off of turn number 2. Just about clear, and he's going to do so now in the center of 3 and 4. And here comes McClellan on the aggression now. A little bit of contact there, boots the 08 up the track, and Daddy Mac will take over position number 8.
There you see Nicholas Noggle. There's the receipt. We made mention of that earlier. He didn't appreciate that. He didn't use all 8 tires to turn, maybe about 6 of them. Leaned on him just a little bit. And 08 went up there, gave him a little bit of a tap ski on the back bumper, and then he backed off. So let Keith McClellan know that he wasn't too happy with that. As you can see, Ashton Tucker dipping down low underneath Craig Tully to try and take that position, and you can see the 17 of Brad Hayes right in the back bumper of Ashton Tucker. There you see John Fitzpatrick. Haven't mentioned him since qualifying here in the first 33 laps. He's trying to move himself up into the 13th position. There you see the 17th scrape the inside wall right in front of that number 78, but it doesn't look like it slowed him down too much.
Things definitely starting to get a little more racy here in mid-portion of the field. This is all going on for position number 10. That's where Ashton Tucker's running. 11th place is Craig Tully. Brad Hayes in 12th. John Fitzpatrick all over the back bumper of that 17 machine of Brad Hayes, trying to apply the pressure and find a way around. Caden Tufts is right behind him in the 14th position. And just behind Tufts now, side by side with Derek Yates and Kyle Gammon for position number 15. The Sheriff will take that spot away, and that opens the door for Mike Rhino, our VEINOTTE'S Pole Award Challenge recipient. He gets around Derek Yates and will move up to position number 16. So only 6 spots up through the field here in the first 36 laps, Paul. That doesn't sound all that great, but again, 250 laps. Rhino has plenty of time to get there.
Long way to go and a long time to get there, and a couple of pit stops on the way. So lots of different strategies could put in play in effect here for the number 34 of Mike Rhino as he tries to cash in that $110 bonus. All he's got to do is, well, beat 21 other drivers from the back of the pack for the VEINOTTE'S Truck and Auto Pole Challenge. It's rolled over, I think, every week since week number 2. I believe it's the last time we took a... Actually, I don't believe anybody's won that. It started out as a $20 award, and it just kept building and building and building, and here we are at $110. So pretty cool to see that. Pretty awesome to have VEINOTTE'S Truck and Auto sponsor that particular award here for these guys. It's always good to kind of support the sim racers, especially during this pandemic time. We do a lot of entertaining here on Verdane TV and a lot of the other iRacing broadcast networks as well. It's always cool to be able to take a little bit of change and put it in these drivers' pockets. As you can see, 17 gets in a back bumper, sends the 78 sideways. Great heads-up driving from Fitzpatrick there in the number 78. He gets that thing pointed, keeps it pointed in the right direction, but you can bet that's going to be in the memory bank for a little bit.
Bit of a close call there for John Fitzpatrick, but a great move to keep that 78 machine pointed in the right direction, and that allowed Caden Tufts to also get around the 17 of Brad Hayes. So a little bit of open track in front of the 78 of Fitzpatrick. He's going to focus on that and see what he can do to reel in the number 5 machine of Craig Tully. Brad Hayes continuing to drop through the field here. He's now under fire from the 98 of Kyle Gammon. Gammon has the 34 of Mike Rhino all over his back bumper, and Rhino is going to take advantage of the pass by Gammon and do the same. Here comes Derek Gates to try to continue the train around the 17, but Brad Hayes finds a hole, and he'll fall in line right behind Mike Rhino. So we're seeing a lot of that in the early portions of this race tonight, Paul. Not a lot of racing room to be had on the outside of this racetrack thus far. You really want to keep that thing down on the bottom, and if you don't, you're going to be losing a handful of spots.
Spending a lot of time here with the middle of the pack here. Essentially, it's a status quo up front. You can see 6 drivers all in a line here, and it's pretty much the same running order that we left them with about 20 laps ago. Matthew Barkow still up front, led every single lap here so far. His brother Magic Mike Alexander in the 75 right behind him. Championship contender Brett Suggs in the 33 is running third. Travis Roma there in the 38, he's running fourth, and Tan Woolridge up to the 5th position. Chris Roma is the 6th place driver in line in that red and black car with the yellow stripe on it. So pretty much status quo up front, no changes. You can see pretty much all these drivers running about the same line, about the same lap time, and about a half a car length in between each driver. You can see Dave Cassidy there in 7th, a little bit further back, and Danny Mack trying to close in on the back bumper of the 13. He sees him, but he can't quite get to him just yet.
Caution flag has flown for the first time here on lap number 47. There's a car in trouble over in turns number 1 and 2. And there you can see it, the 29 of Daniel Vitch has gone around, and taking a quick look at it for myself here, Paul, looks like he had a little bit of help from the 67 of Wade Craswell.
Only a little bit. Danny Vitch gets spun around there. Going into turn number 1, we're going to give it to you in slow motion here on the Verdane.shop instant replay. And there you can see Wade Craswell in the 67 gets in there just a little bit too hot, gets into the back corner of the 29 car, spins him on around, and another little tap there from the front nose. But Danny Vitch does a great job locking those tires up, spinning them just a little bit to make sure he doesn't back into the fence, and no damage there on the number 29 car. Got a little overzealous with the first gear there, but still didn't hit anything. He was able to keep it out of the racing groove. A little bit of damage there, it looks like, from an earlier incident, and I believe he gets passed by the pace car, but I don't believe he got passed by the leader. That's going to be tight. It looks like he does get that thing rolling just in time, so he is going to stay on the lead lap, but all the way back in 22nd position.
So despite that green flag run, it doesn't look like pit road has any business for the moment. These drivers staying fairly conservative with their tire sets on pit road. So no action down there just yet. The cars involved will be sent to the tail end of the field. Looks like Daniel Vitch was not able to get around the pace car, so I think he's going to have to rely on a wave around here to stay on the lead lap. But the good news for him is that he is still on the lead lap and did not lose it during that spin. So fairly calm start to this one here, Paul. This being the first caution, and we are just now beyond the 1/5 mark through this event. All 22 cars still out on the racetrack. A very innocent and harmless spin by the 29 of Daniel Vitch, so he'll have to rejoin at the back of the field. But the good news for him is that he still has a race car to compete with.
Just enough time to give these drivers a little bit of a break, kind of think about their game plan here for the next couple of laps. And I'm not quite sure what the fuel window is with these cars here at Five Flags Speedway, but you definitely want to, these with 2 tires sitting on pit road on the pit boxes for each of these drivers, you can bet that they're going to be wanting to kind of split this up, maybe 2 laps or 2 pit stops, 3 pit stops. It's going to really depend, and we saw last night in the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series, the tires definitely played a factor. Had some drivers come down late in the race, take 2 tires, and dropped like a rock after a couple of laps. A little bit of a different track, a little bit of a different car, but same concept. The more laps you run on 2 sets of tires or 2 tires on the car, the tougher it's going to be to hold on to it. But there you see the iRacing Mustang pace car. He's going to dip on down low, grab a corn dog and a cold Coke. And green flag is in the air. Great restart there from Barkhouse, number 15. Mike Alexander right there with him, but Brett Suggs starting to close in on that bottom side. Not quite enough room for the 75 to get down and block. He wants to get down there, but not quite. There it is. Finally closes the door, slams it shut on the number 33. So Brett Suggs still has a little bit of work to do to try and get around the 75 so he can get in and race with that championship leader, Matthew Barkhouse.
Alexander took that position away from Suggs on the initial start of the race from third place. Suggs was not able to regain that position off the start, but now he's got a great run going into turn number 1 and forces Alexander to give him the space. Brett Suggs makes very quick work out of Mike Alexander and puts himself into the runner-up position, so move Brett Suggs to position number 2. Mike Alexander falls back into position number 3, and now your championship duo at the front of this field, as Brett Suggs maybe figured something out and he wants to try to challenge for this race lead. Of course, putting himself in front of Matthew Barkhouse helps for the championship, but he's going to need to put a few more cars in between the two of them if he wants to win it.
Lone American in the field here. Brett Suggs, number 33, trying to move up towards the front a little bit further. And like you said, Kyle, he can win this race, but if Matthew Barkhouse finishes second, third, or fourth, still going to go to the championship. It's going to go to the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. So has to get a little bit of help, a little bit of luck. But there you can see, gets around the number 75 of Magic Blank. Does a little bit better for himself, gets in that second position. Now he's going to try and take that lead from Matt Barkhouse.
Top 3 cars very, very tight on each other. Chris Roma in the 83, or Travis Roma in the 38 rather, trying to work his way up and close in on this group. Then you got Tainton Woolridge in position number 5, who is trying to hold off the 83 of Chris Roma. Roma putting on a lot of pressure. Dave Cassidy right there as well, Nicholas Noggle. So we're single file throughout the top 10. Caden Tufts is side by side, and that number 88 machine trying to move up a position on John Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick stuck on that top lane. He's got a long line of cars down the bottom. He's going to try to freight train him out. Fitzpatrick not giving it up just yet. Tufts slides just a little bit, makes slight contact with the 78, and he's going to clear. Now here comes Kyle Gaiman to try to continue on by.
There you see the sheriff side by side with Fitzpatrick, and you can see Fitzpatrick a little bit loose on the top side there, losing the back end of the car just a little bit. And it looks like a lot of these guys are starting to lean just a little bit more, trying to use that 8 tires better than 4 method just a little bit. So you see a little bit of a connection issue from number 17 of Brad Hayes blinking in and out there. That's one of the things here with iRacing, and some of the Maritime drivers in Canada have not the best internet connection. And there you can see Mike Rhino in the number 34. He's moved his way. He's running 15th right now, so still a little bit of work to do to try and cash in that $110 payday brought to you by VEINOTTE'S Truck and Auto for the Pole Award Challenge. But still plugging away just as well, right in line with most of the drivers here. He's got to get a little bit of track position, so we might see him try a little bit of a gamble maybe here on pit road when they come down to the sides.
Very well could be the case. So far, Rhino's charge through the field has been fairly successful, very calm, very steady, slowly and methodically working his way through. He's in position number 16 at the moment, and man, that internet issue that you mentioned with Brad Hayes, it is not getting any better. And as soon as I say that, Race Control has black flagged the 17 of Brad Hayes. It is not what they like, and that is going to get Mike Rhino all sorts of out of shape. I think John Fitzpatrick may have made contact with him, kind of checked things up, and Rhino shoots up the racetrack and is going to lose a couple positions. So Brad Hayes down on pit road to try to fix that internet issue. We stay green. Mike Rhino will tuck in line behind the 57 John Byron and only loses 1 position out of the exchange.
A little bit of side-by-side action in front of some side-by-side action. You see Caden Tufts on the outside, the number 98, the Sheriff of Gammon down low, door-to-door as they go into the corner, and out front of them, looks like they sorted that 3-way dance out. Daddy Mack and the 30 Bud Light machine, Keith McClellan, sorts it out. He gets in front of the boss man, Craig Tully, and number 5, Ashton Tucker there in that number 2 car, who's moved himself all the way up to the 11th position. Knocking on the back door of a top 10 from Ashton Tucker after I don't want to call it a dismal qualifying lap, but definitely not a qualifying lap that we usually see from Ashton Tucker as we work lap number 69. Nice.
Yeah, usually Ashton Tucker is a front runner with this group, and not having a very normal qualifying run, having to work his way through the field. And so far, he's up 5 positions from his 16th place starting spot in these first 69 laps of this race. Starting to knock on the door for a top 10. Still has some work to do, but it would not surprise me at all to see him be a contender later on in this race. So 70 laps are in the books, and while we were watching all of that good battling going on there, Paul, we have a new race leader. Brett Suggs in the 33 has taken over around Matthew Barkhouse, and now he controls the field here at the completion of lap 71.
And Brett Suggs could lead all of the rest of the laps, finish right where he is, have flawless pit stops throughout the rest of the night. But if he looks in that rearview mirror and the first thing that he sees is that 15 car of Matthew Barkhouse, still not going to be able to win the championship. Has to get a couple of cars in between he and that 15 car, 2 of them to be exact, to try and clinch that championship. And it's going to be tough to do because Matthew Barkhouse always up front. You can see Matthew's brother Mike Alexander, the number 75, right behind him, with Travis Roma starting to close into the back bumper of the 75.
It can be very frustrating to be in that position that Brett Suggs is in, leading the field, trying to do your best to win the race, and knowing that no matter what you do tonight, it may not matter. You may not be able to do enough. Having to rely on somebody else or something else to help you to win the championship is never a good feeling. It at least helps to know that you went to victory lane and did everything that you could, but it still hurts having to try to rely on something else that's out of your control to try to get you to success. So Matthew Barkhouse is all over that back bumper, hanging tough with Brett Suggs. Mike Alexander hanging out there in position number 3. Those two drivers, the 75 and the 15, they are brothers, they are teammates, so you know that Mike Alexander going to do everything that he can to try to help his brother Matthew Barkhouse win the championship. But the guy right behind that 75, the 38 of Travis Roma, he don't care about no championship. He just wants to go to victory lane, baby.
That's it. It's one of those things, Kyle, where you want to come home with a win in the longest race of the season here, 250 laps here at Five Flags Speedway. Kind of an Ironman event, if you will. Usually running about 100, 150 laps or so in this series this past season. And so right now it's a pretty good opportunity just to say hello to everybody over in the chat on Facebook, on YouTube. Everybody over on Twitter as well, Vidain TV, on all the social media outlets. Say hello, let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, who you want to win the championship, who you think's going to win the championship. And once you do all that, shoot on over to VEINOTTE'S. Kyle, did you hear we have dad hats?
Dad hats? What's a dad hat?
You know, I don't know, but they're trendy, and we have them. So I think it's the hats that have like the little belt buckle type deal on the back, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to check it myself.
I guess it doesn't really matter if you know what it is or not. If it's trendy, if it's what all the kids have, and if you have it, that's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it also lets everybody know that you support this thing called iRacing and you watch it here on Vidain TV, and you get entertained almost nightly as we're very busy here in the 2021 season. And man, if we got some cool stuff coming up, Kyle, we're going to have talked off air about a lot of the things we've got coming up. We've got our 1-year anniversary / birthday coming up next month. We are going to do some kind of special invitational event, but I haven't quite decided on what we're doing yet. That's going to absolutely have an invitation to all of the leagues that have worked with us over the past year as we got started late last March here during the pandemic times. A little bit of a trivia question here, Kyle. Who was the first league ever to have a race broadcasted by Vidain TV?
You know, I believe I heard you say this the other night or last week sometime. Was it Dylan Kopech's East Coast Winter Racing League?
That it was. Stafford Speedway. I don't remember how long the race was, but we watched a little bit of modified action at Stafford Motor Speedway, and well, the rest is history. Here we are, many races later, and I was going through Tim Terry from Tim's Corner Motorsports, helping me try to understand all the different statistics that Facebook pushes out with all the video views and all that stuff. And proud to say, over the past year, we have over 1 million minutes viewed. And you heard that right, 1 million minutes viewed in the past year here on Vidain TV. Could not have done it without the fans, and well, honestly, Kyle, couldn't have done it without your help as well.
That's so impressive to see a number that big in just 1 year. Not even a year's time. We're only about, what, 11 months in? What's the actual date? March? It's March 20 something, right?
29.
So yeah, not even 11 months in and already over 1 million views. That is truly incredible, and I know it boosts your spirits, boosts my spirits to see what the future can hold and what year number 2 can be for Verdane TV.
And what's even crazier than that, Kyle, is we got some stuff coming up, and I actually talked to this fellow, David Polenz. He is kind of a new backstage guy that we've got at Verdane TV, and he's the owner of Elite Media Graphics and Wraps, and he's working on a graphics package. He's working on a little bit of a makeover here for Verdane TV. He showed me some teasers. He showed me the brand new 60-second entry video for the Verdane TV broadcast. And brother, it gave me goosebumps, man. It's I'm excited. We got some awesome stuff coming up on Verdane TV. Yeah, you know, we hear that everything looks good now, but we can do better. We can absolutely do better, and that's what we keep striving here for at Verdane TV. We want to be bigger, we want to be better, we want to be the best, and we want to bring Verdane TV out to actual racetracks and try and cover some racing action, and we're hoping to do that. We're actually hoping to do that Verdane Racing Championship weekend at Stafford Motor Speedway, June 11th and 12th. June 11th, we've got Richard Beasley, this year's Sim 500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway Series champion, and last year's Verdane Racing Super Speedway champion, Jared Bollier, who are going to be running in the street stock division, courtesy of Renner Race Car at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday, June 11th. Very, very excited for that. I'm hoping they don't wreck, because I've got the cash on hand for the wreck deposits, so I'm hoping to not have to spend that. I'm hoping maybe I can cash that in for a couple of rentals myself over at Renner Race Car, but very happy to have Renner Race Car on board for that series, and very excited for that championship weekend. Mainly for the Verdane Racing, all the sim racers, everybody's saying that they're going to come out and watch some fellow sim racers hop in a real race car for the very first time for both Beasley and Bolliard, and I'm excited for Saturday night too, because the SRX series, brought to you by Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham, they're making their debut at Stafford Speedway that Saturday, and man, I've already got my tickets. I believe they're getting mailed out in the month of May, but I got them paid for before they cut off the sales for the COVID pandemic. As soon as we hear from King Lamont about opening up the racetracks and the venues, about more people being allowed into the racetrack, they are going to open up more ticket sales. So be sure to keep an eye on that on all the social media outlets for Stafford Speedway, as well as the SRX series. And Verdane TV, every time they post something about that weekend, we're going to be sharing it on our Facebook page too. Really looking forward to that weekend, and we hope that all the fans and drivers, supporters, sponsors, everybody comes out, because it's going to be one heck of a party.
It's always exciting to get to this time of the year. At least for me, it's also a little bit agonizing, because I'm well over winter, ready to get to the nice weather, ready to get to the racetracks, but this is when you really start to think about the racing season and getting to your local racetrack or doing something big and fancy with a major event, and just being able to enjoy the nice weather and getting to happier times. I know you feel it too, Paul. You're in Connecticut with me, so you're up here in the Northeast. I'm in New York trying to get out of here my best, but it just seems at this time of the year, the winter months, they drag on for so long. And in all reality, we don't really have too much to complain about, because minus Brett Suggs, all of these guys that are racing with us tonight, they're all Canadian drivers. They have it even worse than we do.
Yeah, lots of snow, lots of cold, but they also have racetracks that race in the snow, so we saw that this past Monday on Tim Scoter Live. New series that every Monday night. We finally signed the deal. The numbers look good, and the viewers looked good, and the fans appreciated it. Lots of people tuned in Monday night to that Tim's Corner Motorsports show, and very excited to be a part of that, and be the producer pushing the buttons in the background and listening to a lot of the Maritime drivers talk all sorts of funny. A little bit different than they talk down here, but pretty cool to see, and very happy to be a part of it. And man, it gets me excited, because I know you do a lot of race chasing. You go to every racetrack that you possibly can, and it's that time of year. It's time to go racing. You know, time to knock the cold off and grab yourself a Verdane TV hooded sweatshirt over there from Verdane.shop. Keep yourself nice and warm for the first couple of months, and well, then you can pull that bad boy off and reveal the Verdane TV tank top that you might be wearing underneath.
You know, not that anybody really needs to learn about my personal life, but I've been saying to myself for the last few summers that I really need to get some more tank tops. I don't have stuff like that for the warm weather, and now that I'm trying to move down to North Carolina, a much warmer area than what I am here in New York, The Vidane TV tank top is very much calling my name. Very, very seriously considering picking one of those up for myself to sport around the racetracks throughout this year. And yeah, I'll have a lot of new things to accomplish and new places to venture out to as long as things continue to go my way with that aspect. But you're right. It's a double-edged sword. You're excited to get to the racing season, excited to get to the more entertaining parts of the year, but knowing that you still have to deal with winter and you just don't know when it's going to go away is what really stinks.
Absolutely. We just got home from work tonight, watched the weather. Sunday it's going to be just about 50 degrees, but then next Tuesday we're going to wake up and it's going to be 5. So winter is still definitely in full effect here in the Northeast, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We got the the spring sizzler coming up at the end of April here at Stafford Motor Speedway, my home track here in Connecticut. And it was pretty cool to talk to a lot of the NEPS drivers after Friday Night Super Truck Championship race. After Ford Wide Weaponry came home with that particular championship. Cool little team deal that they had in the Truck Series at Atlanta. But a lot of drivers are going to be there. A lot of the guys, the Casa Grandes and the Kopaks, all those guys are going to be there. But we also heard that the Jennerstown's driver, Zane Farrell, is going to be hopping on a plane that weekend and coming up to party. So we're going to be popping some Mango Trulies all weekend.
Knowing that all of those parties are going to be involved with this thing makes me very concerned for the livers of everybody and probably surrounding areas in the Stafford Motor Speedway vicinity. I can see that being a fairly crazy weekend.
Hey man, ain't no party like a rent a race car party, because a rent a race car party don't stop.
Why do we have to wait until June? Why can't we just go out and do that this weekend?
I'm down. Let's go. We'll find some mow. We'll fire up the lawnmowers, find us a nice field, and we'll do some ice racing.
It sounds
you want to.
It sounds so rumbly.
Taking a quick look, though, still status quo up front. Brett Suggs holding on to that lead over Matthew Barkhouse, and you can see he's kind of taking a peek. He's looking high, looking low, trying to see where Suggs may or may not be slower, but those cars look identical as far as the lines go, as far as the times go. Last time by, an 0.27 for Suggs and an 0.88 for Matthew Barkhouse, but it's also in the 17-second bracket. So tires starting to fall off here as we get close, about 10 laps, 12 laps here from halfway.
And throughout this green flag run, that gap that the top three cars had back to the Roma Brothers and Tanton Woolridge, that has just about evaporated. Travis Roma in the 38 is probably about 3 or 4 car lengths behind Mike Alexander, trying to continue to reel him in, and Tanton Woolridge and his brother Chris Roma right there as well. So these 6 cars, they are all separated by about a second and a quarter throughout this little group. And now here you can see where position number 7, Dave Cassidy, is at. He's kind of in a bit of a world of his own. He's got about 2.5 seconds up to Chris Roma in 6th, and then there's Nicholas Nagel in the 08 machine, roughly 7 or 8 car lengths behind the 13, Craig Tully in car number 5, right there in a position at number 9. And then you have Caden Tufts, who completes the top 10. Tufts has done a fairly decent job of working his way through the field. He started back in 15th, currently in position number 10, so he is up 5 spots here as we close in on the halfway mark.
There you can see John Fitzpatrick in the 11th position, pretty much by himself at this point, just kind of logging laps. Kyle Gammon, the sheriff, in the 98, running in at 12th. A little bit of a battle here. I guess we can still call it a battle. Ashton Tucker moving himself into the 13th position. Mike Rhino, the Vino's Truck and Auto Pole Award challengee, I guess we could say, or challenger, as it were. 14th, still a long way to go. A little ways to get there. Just about halfway, we made mention. Lap number 119, 6 laps from halfway here. Keith McClellan, Dally Max slipping back to the 15th position. Derek Gates, 16th. Danny Vitch, after that spin earlier on and having to restart in the back, he's moved himself back up to the 17th position. There you see Wade Craswell right behind him in the 67. Mark Williams in the 42. A little bit of a challenge there from John Byron right behind him. And there you can see Brad Hayes and Tyler Layton as well. So pretty much single file all the way throughout the field. Everybody really, really wants some tires. Taking a look at the last lap times versus the best lap times, we're about 7 to 8 tenths of a second slower than we were 121 laps ago. So the question is, Kyle, we're coming up on halfway. We've got a long green flag field. Do you come down? Do you risk coming down during the green to try and take tires at halfway?
Well, I think the biggest thing on the green flag pit stop is going to be the fuel. I can't imagine that these cars can go 250 laps on a tank of fuel, but obviously they can go quite a ways, as we're just about halfway here and nobody has made a pit stop yet. And speaking about that halfway mark there, Paul, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have some money up on the line here for the leader, lap 125?
That we do, and it's usually lap 65 is halfway, so we'll have to get some clarification after the race here from the boss man, Craig Tully, but the Royal Volts usually sponsor the halfway point in lap 65 for $10 for that lap leader. It'll be one of these two guys, Barkhouse or Suggs. Barkhouse with the big old payday so far, won the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing Pole Award, and as well as the best paint scheme, so he's looking at $30-40 so far.
Well, if the award is up for grabs, it's not going to go to Matthew Barkhouse. Cross flags are in the air, and Brett Suggs will lead lap number 125. We are halfway home through the season finale for the RBR Maritime iRacing Group here at the Five Flag Speedway. The top two drivers that you see on your screen, Brett Suggs and Matthew Barkhouse, they are fighting for the championship. Matthew Barkhouse came into tonight's race with the advantage. He has a 3-position advantage over Brett Suggs. Suggs needs to beat him by 3 spots in order to claim the championship. If it's 2 spots or less, the title goes to Barkhouse. So right now, Barkhouse is sitting in championship position despite the fact that Brett Suggs is leading this race. These two cars have been glued to each other the entirety of this event. They have not let each other get away from one another, and I have a feeling that's probably going to stay true throughout the second half of this race as well.
Race may very well be won or lost on pit road here. We can tell it's going to be at least a pit stop because these drivers were able to make it at least a halfway on a tank of fuel and on a set of tires. So, like you said, Kyle, I don't believe they can make it 250 laps here, but we'll see. It's status quo up front still. Still Suggs up front, Barkhouse and Alexander second and third. There you can see a little bit of a Roma sandwich there. David Cassidy running in that 13 car in between the two Roma brothers. Nicholas Noggle matching his car number, 8 in the 8th position. Caden Tufts in 9th, and John Fitzpatrick moving up to the 10th position.
Haven't made mention about it just yet, but you can start to see up ahead of these leaders about 3/4 of a straightaway or so. There will be some lap traffic to play into this one if we continue to stay green flag. Lap number 131 going into the books. The first of those lapped cars is going to be the 57, or sorry, that is the 27 of Taylor Layton and the 57 of John Byron. Not exactly sure what happened with Taylor Layton, Paul. I can see he's 9 laps down. We know that the 5 laps that Brad Hayes lost were because of that connection issue and the penalty that he received, but not so sure why Taylor Layton is 9 laps off the pace there in 22nd.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the car's in too rough a shape, so he may very well have come down pit road and got the virtual hammers on the sheet metal there, but you can see he is the first car in front of the leaders, and the 57, the last car on the lead lap. So John Byron hoping for a caution. He wants to try and stay on the lead lap, come down, get tires, and get caught up to the end of the field here. But time's starting to run out here for him. As you can see, the leaders are getting bigger and bigger in that rearview mirror.
That lead group still single file around the bottom of the racetrack. It's so impressive to see this many cars running this consistent and this respectful for so many laps. It just goes to show you how talented these drivers are, how intelligent these drivers are, knowing how many laps there are and knowing that this isn't the time to race. This isn't the time to get all crazy. Yeah, you're beyond the halfway point, so now you got to start to think about ramping it up just a little bit, but you have to be able to get there in order to win the race. What's the old saying? In order to finish first, you must first finish. So very impressive to see these guys running around this racetrack as well as they are. And despite the number of laps that we've been green flag, Paul, I think 85 laps now coming this time. I think we took the green flag back on the completion of lap 52. So an 85 green flag lap run. It's very impressive.
listen to these lap times with these top 6 drivers here, Kyle. Brett Suggs, 17.063. Matthew Barkhouse, 0.43. Mike Alexander, 0.80. Travis Roma, 0.75. Chanton Woolridge, 0.45. Chris Roma, 0.12. These guys are within hundredths of a second of each other in this top 6, and really nobody's giving up an inch.
It's just speaks volumes to how well that these drivers are. And correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but isn't this an open setup series as well?
This is an open setup, absolutely, and you can see some of the teammates kind of working together. A lot of the RBR drivers kind of working together. You usually see similar lines, similar setups, and everything like that. But there you can see a little bit of trouble. Nope, John Byron going to come down pit road. He says, "You're not going to lap me. I'm going to put myself a lap down." But he's going to grab himself 4 fresh tires. That may very well force the hand here, Kyle, of some of these drivers. So John Byron, the last car on the lead lap, coming down for tires. We're going to see how much time and just how much quicker that 57 car may be.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if this begins a green flag pit cycle, or maybe John's just trying to change up the strategy for himself since he's running towards the back of the field and trying to see if maybe he can't snag a few positions at the end of this one here throughout the second half of this race. Still 1.1 seconds separating these guys, and now Mike Alexander, I don't know if he made a mistake there or did that by design, but he opens the door for the 38 of Travis Roma to come underneath. We are going to battle for the first time in quite a while for position number 3. Roma and Alexander side by side. Tanton Woolridge with a front row seat for this fight. He is going to try to help out that 38 machine of Roma, push him on by, and maybe try to steal a position away from the 75 as well. Alexander up on that top side. We haven't seen a lot of success up there, and we're not seeing it here. He loses the spot to Roma. Now here comes Woolridge. He's got the spot at the line. Can he clear? He will. And now here comes Chris Roma as well. Just like that, from 3rd to 6th goes Mike Alexander.
Business is getting ready to pick up here, Kyle. Lots of drivers down on pit road from the middle of the pack on back. Keith McClellan, Mike Rhino, Caden Tubbs, Ashton Tucker, Kyle Gammon. A lot of the drivers that were running together almost right in front of the 57 of John Byron. They're all on pit road, and it looks like everybody's taking 4 tires. And looks like some of these late model teams getting some halfway decent times, but it also looks like they may be repairing a little bit of damage as a lot of these pit stops are in the lower 20-second mark. Not quite a Cup Series. There you see Dave Cassidy's going to come down pit road from the top 10. Here comes Craig Tully, the boss man. He's going to come down pit road. So this is going to force the hand of some of these leaders, I think, Kyle. They're going to see just how much quicker these guys are on 4 fresh tires after almost 150 laps. So this is really, that was a test. That was essentially a test session, almost an entire race worth of laps here on this set of tires to kind of gear them up for the end. And there you can see Travis Roma has moved up to the 2nd position, and Brett Suggs has kind of checked out just a little bit. He's got about 5 or 6 car lengths over that 38 car.
That's because we have seen our first front contender go to pit road. Matthew Barkhouse in the 15 is on pit road for his pit stop. Looks like the 38 of Travis Roma, Tanton Woolridge, Chris Roma, Brett Suggs, they are all going to come down. Green flag pit stops for your race leaders. It is very important to be as smooth as you can here, Paul, seeing the first round of drivers that made their pit stops. This is a 2-lap pit sequence. This is a very fast, very small racetrack, so you lose 2 laps on pit road here. You need to make sure that you are perfect, no mistakes here, and as soon as I say that, Travis Roma overshoots his pit box by just a little bit. He has to back up, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time once they cycle back out and get to the racetrack.
Hands the lead over to the 75 of Magic Mike Alexander. 4 drivers still yet to make pit stops. Mike Alexander the first. John Fitzpatrick currently running in the 2nd position. He has yet to pit. Wade Craswell in the 67. There you see he's going to come down pit road to make that 3. The Mark Williams machine, the 42. He's going to come down pit road. Down to 2 drivers to come down pit road. And they there you see Mike Alexander. He's going to come down pit road. John Fitzpatrick, he's going to try and stay out and lead a lap. Doesn't really do too much for as far as bonus points or anything like that. He's going to hope for maybe a quick caution and catch a lot of these drivers a lap down. But there you see John Fitzpatrick, the leader. Everybody else has come down pit road.
Boy, what a monkey wrench that would throw into this race if the caution flag came out right now. Looks like everybody's been able to get on and off of pit road fairly cleanly and fairly easily. John Fitzpatrick hanging out in the race lead right now. Mike Alexander is the only other car on the lead lap at the moment. Right behind John Fitzpatrick is Brett Suggs, and this is going to give you a true test as to how much tires mean. Here comes Suggs right down on the bottom. He should make quick work of John Fitzpatrick, lets him go into turn number 1. Now watch how quickly that 33 car pulls away 5 car lengths by the time they get off of turn number 2, and is only going to continue to extend that as he drives away, and that is going to put Brett Suggs in the 33 machine. He is unlapping himself for the 3rd time, so he lost 3 laps. He is now 2 laps down. Had a longer pit stop, it looks like, than some of the competition. Matthew Barkhouse is actually ahead of him. Barkhouse came in 1 lap prior, and there is a lot of time between, almost half a track, I think, separating these 2 guys here, Paul.
Yeah, taking a look at the timing and scoring, Brett Suggs on the pit stop, 43.1 seconds compared to the 15 Matthew Barkhouse, 29.2. So big, I'm not sure if there was maybe some damage on the 33 that he might have been repairing, or maybe a very well could have been a speeding penalty on the Brett Suggs machine. Not entirely sure, but definitely a monkey wrench. And there you can see John Fitzpatrick coming down pit road. So everybody going to come down pit road. Timing and scoring going to kind of update itself as these drivers get around John Fitzpatrick a lap or 2. That should hand the lead over to Dave Cassidy. Pitted 10 laps ago, 21.9 on the pit stop, so it looks like 4 tires for him. He's going to inherit the lead here, Kyle.
And Dave Cassidy was one of the drivers that made the pit stop very early in the sequence and was not running in that lead group. So you may have been onto something there, Paul, when you said that those drivers mid-pack on back decided to pit first. Looks like he is going to complete the cycle and come out with the race lead. Less than 100 laps to go. How does this change things in the complexion of this race? Well, to kind of see how it all plays out here, Matthew Barkhouse is in position number 8. He was the first driver to pit out of the lead group. Looks like he's going to take over 7th place once things cycle on back, and he is 11.5 seconds behind Dave Cassidy right now.
And Brett Suggs, number 2 in the championship. He's actually the first car 1 lap down after a long pit stop there, scored in 11th place. So the good news is if the caution does in fact come out, he is going to be in position for that lucky dog, but that's not going to be good enough for Brett Suggs. He's going to want to try and unlap himself. There you can see the leader, Dave Cassidy, right in front of him, and you can see Brett Suggs really starting to close in the back bumper of the 13 car. So that setup working definitely in the favor of the 33, as you can see John Byron, the 57, giving Dave Cassidy just a little bit of a hard time, and there you can see he shoots up into the wall, sparks flying a little bit, no contact between the 2 drivers, just a little bit of a handling issue there. You can see Brett Suggs kissing the wall just a little bit, just enough to let the sparks fly, and you can see he closes right up on the back bumper of the leader. So that 33 is still very, very quick, trying to unlap himself the hard way and get back on this lead lap and try and chase down Matthew Barkhouse there in the 7th position.
Yeah, you can see he is really trying to put himself back on the lead lap. There is a pretty significant difference to being the free pass car and being the last car on the lead lap, and Dave Cassidy's just going to let him have it. So Brett Suggs unlaps himself, kisses the wall once again down the back straightaway, and that 33 car will regain a lead lap position. The next car that will try to do that is the 83 of Chris Roma. Roma's a little ways back behind Dave Cassidy. And then you can see 2nd place driver Kyle Gammon. He is battling with John Fitzpatrick here for position number 3. Those 2 cars hanging out right around each other after this green flag pit stop sequence, and Fitzpatrick trying to put the pressure on the sheriff to take over the runner-up spot.
And it's really hard to tell what the 78 did on pit road. He had a 17.3 stop, so it looks like he may very well have only taken 2 tires. But it was late in the going, so he does have a little bit fresher tires than a lot of the drivers on the track. A little bit of a tap there to the 98 of the sheriff. He holds on to it. He's going to door slam him just a little bit, kind of boot him up out of the way. That's going to move John Fitzpatrick into that 2nd position, and well, that may very well come with a receipt later on. You can see behind them Nick Knopf shooting down low of the number 17 car, trying to get around him. He is 17 of Brad Hayes, 7 laps down, earlier connection issue. The good news is, looks like he's got that sorted out, but right behind them, you can see the boss man Craig Tully, also a lap down in that number 5, running in the 15th position. So a lot of different strategies, a lot of different pit stop times throughout the field here. Dave Cassidy still holding on to a 5-second lead over John Fitzpatrick, and a big time traffic. Well, not too bad. It looks like you can see Brett Suggs has gotten around number 30 of Keith McClellan, and now he gets around Caden Tuff. So Brett Suggs really moving himself up through the field. You can see 9th place now currently, 2 positions behind Matthew Barkhouse, but that 75 car is between the two of them again. So going to be tough for Brett Suggs to make his way up. Still a little bit of time to go here, but less than 100 laps as far. It looks like 80 laps to go if my math serves me correct.
Yeah, Suggs is really pushing hard here. He's got the gap down to about 3.2 seconds to the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, so he's trying to keep himself in touch with that 15 machine. That is the race for the championship. As of right now, it would be Matthew Barkhouse to win it, but as Paul just said, still 80 laps to go left in this race. A lot can happen in that time frame. And there you can see the Alexander and Barkhouse duo riding around this field, coming across to take the lap and complete lap 171. Those two cars are 7th and 8th place, about 12.5 seconds behind Dave Cassidy and in the race lead. Truly remarkable how much has changed in that green flag pit sequence and what has shuffled and cycled out after the differences in the pit stops and the laps that all these drivers decided to come in at.
If John Fitzpatrick did in fact take 2 tires, it's definitely not showing on the timing and scoring because he's already closed in by about 1.5 seconds on Dave Cassidy. He's closed into a 3.9, check that 3.8 second deficit. And that's with trying to work through this lap traffic here. You can see trying to get around the 38 of Roma, trying to get around the 57 of Byron as they run side by side in front of him. That's your 2nd place car, the number 78 of John Fitzpatrick. And you can't even really see Dave Cassidy from there. Maybe if we look back, you can almost see him if you look all the way back there. But still clicking off lap times a little bit quicker than Cassidy. So John Fitzpatrick trying to move himself up closer to the lead. Nicholas Noggle in the number 8 car, kind of running by himself right now in that 3rd position. Nobody up front, nobody right behind him. And that's kind of where you want to be. You want to be able to log some laps and kind of hope that the front guys get jammed up just a little bit to see if he can close in.
And Noggle doing a good job of taking advantage of the pit sequence for himself, running in position number 3. And this is where you see the 98 machine of Kyle Gammon running right now. The Sheriff back to position number 4 in that number 98 machine. He's got about 4.3 seconds or so ahead of Mike Rhino back in 5th. Craig Tully is trying to work his way around the 98 machine. Tully is in 13th place, 1 lap down. Brad Hayes many laps off the pace, and Gammon knows that Tully is not racing him for position, so he's going to give him the room down in the bottom and just let that number 5 car go right on by and just continue on with his race in that number 98 machine. Paul, I got to say, this is probably one of the longest green flag runs that we have seen in Verdane TV history. We are closing in on 130 laps of consecutive green flag laps.
Yeah, fantastic runs for these guys here tonight at Five Flag Speedway. An awesome showing here. Championship night for the RBR Maritime Group, Season 3 here on Verdane TV. And the best of the best here in the Maritimes of Canada. We got Brett Suggs, the lone American, still trying to get in on that championship deal, running in the 8th position, but he's got to finish 2 positions ahead of Matthew Barkhouse. 3 positions, check that, in front of the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, who already has a little bit of a payday here this evening. He's got the Xander Signs Best Paint Scheme as voted by the fans on Verdane TV. Over 190 votes, I believe it was, for that number 15 car. And he's also won the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing Pole Award as he qualified on the pole. Looks like we got some smoke in the track. Is it a wreck or is that a connection issue? Looks like it might have been a connection issue. Everybody's still pointing in the right direction. But yeah, great racing. Very impressed with these guys here tonight. Definitely all the drivers in championship form. And it's still anybody's race and still anybody's championship, as it looks like John Fitzpatrick's run up to that Dave Cassidy machine has stalled it just a little bit, as he still sits about 3.6 seconds back. Dave Cassidy holding on to that lead.
Well, it was down to 3 seconds, but a couple of laps ago, John Fitzpatrick made some contact with the 38 of Travis Roma, almost spun Travis Roma around, and Fitzpatrick went up to the outside wall. So I'm assuming that may have been where that smoke came from that you saw, Paul. We almost had a caution, and that ordeal has cost John Fitzpatrick some time. He's on the hammer once again, though. He has closed in, regained about half a second back from what he had lost, down to 3.3 seconds. Let's see what it is here at the line when he clicks off lap number 186 It is 3.2. So slowly but surely, John Fitzpatrick trying to reel in that 13 of Dave Cassidy, who is in some serious lap traffic right now.
Getting squirrely between the 56 and the 2. There you can see the 2 of Ashton Tucker stopped in the outside racing groove. That is more than likely going to bring out the caution if he doesn't get that machine going again. As we can see those big-time heavy traffic, like you said, Tan Woolridge, Danny Vitch trying to stay on the lead lap, but Dave Cassidy having none of it. See if we can check in on that Ashton Tucker machine. It looks like he has, in fact, retired from the race. Got that thing towed down to pit road. I'm not sure if something maybe broke on that race car or if there's a connection issue, but here you can see Dave Cassidy gets around the 83 of Roma, and he's going to try and get around the number 29 here of Danny Vitch. That's going to put Danny 2 laps down, as there are currently 8 drivers still on the lead lap. The last one being on the lead lap is going to be Brett Suggs in the 33.
So Dave Cassidy has worked his way through this big field of lap traffic, 4 cars behind him, and look at all the open track that 13 machine has. Now in front of him at the 78 of John Fitzpatrick. Now he is going to have to work his way through all that lap traffic to try to get to the 13 of Dave Cassidy, so it'll be fun to try to watch him maneuver through. He's on the back bumper right now, Mark Williams, trying to get around that 42 machine. Williams is going to go to the top side, let him cycle on by down on the bottom, and Fitzpatrick will clear. The gap continues to shrink down to 2.1 seconds. John Fitzpatrick up on the wheel, trying to make something happen in that Canada number 78 car.
It'll be interesting to see if John Fitzpatrick has a little bit better luck trying to get through that lap traffic. It seemed like Dave Cassidy struggled with it just a little bit, and it cost him a lot of time. You can see now on the screen there, 2.016 between the leader, Dave Cassidy, and John Fitzpatrick there in second. And as we cross the stripe, it updates to 1.96. So definitely closing in, but he's still got 4 cars to try and get around before he can get to the back bumper of the 13. Plenty of time to do it. 55, 56 laps to go here on the board, but at 55 laps, it's going to click off pretty quick here, Kyle.
That it is. We've been green for almost we've been racing for almost 200 laps, and we're still less than an hour into this race. So these guys running 16, 17-second lap times. They click away very quickly. If we stay green, we're probably looking at about, maybe another 15, 20 minutes of green flag racing or so. Not a lot of time to work with. This is when you really need to start getting up on the wheel, start making things happen.
Now you can see the 83 of Chris Roma. He's got about the same tires as Dave Cassidy. He gets around him, getting himself back on the lead lap. And it looks like Dave Cassidy just kind of let him go. The 83 all over the back bumper, the 13 trying to get back onto the lead lap. And Cassidy needs to concentrate on holding on to his lead, hold on to to hit his marks and all that stuff to try and stay in front of John Fitzpatrick. You can see finally starting to come up on your screen is that white 78 Canada car. 1.4 seconds flat is the distance between the leader and the second place car.
Yeah, John Fitzpatrick just continuing to eat away at the lead that Dave Cassidy has, and this could come into play with how the pit stop sequence came into. John Fitzpatrick was the very last car to make his green flag pit stop, so he has the freshest tires out of anybody on the racetrack right now. Dave Cassidy came in, what did you say, about 10 laps prior to when John Fitzpatrick did, so his tires are a little bit older, and depending on how these two drivers have been racing during this green flag run after the pit sequence, can really determine how much those tires are wearing. So John Fitzpatrick, whoa, he's on the back bumper. Tan Woolridge sends him for a slide. Woolridge gathers it back up. John Fitzpatrick taking no prisoners, wasting no time. He realizes he has a faster car than the 13, and he wants this lead back.
One more car between the leader and that second place driver of John Fitzpatrick. We saw lost a little bit of time there, 1.6 seconds gap. One car left, Danny Vitch in the 29 car. There you can see Caden Tuff's caution out. Lap number 201, Kyle. That changes everything. It looks like Caden Tuff's is down on pit road. See if we can pull up where the caution came out here.
So the yellow flag has flown for the second time. Not sure about you, Paul, but I don't really see what we could have been cautioned for.
Looking through the tapes. I don't see anything. We see Brad Hayes has been on pit road. Taylor Layton, 45 laps down. Brad Hayes, 9 laps down. Connection issues with the 17. Everybody coming down pit road. There you see the 2 leaders, John Fitzpatrick, Dave Cassidy. Nick Noggle appears to be on pit road as well. So we'll see if possibly maybe we'll call in one of the experts here, Brent and Roy. Brent, was that a competition caution, or did we miss something here on the booth?
Oh, I see it. I can see it, Paul. The 17 of Brad Hayes got himself up into the outside wall in turn number 1. He hit that wall very hard, spun himself around, and that is what brought the caution out.
Never mind, Brett. Go back to work. So we'll pull up the Vidane.shop instant replay, and we'll take a peek here at the number 17 car. That's tough. 17 was under a couple, almost 10 laps down, 9 laps down. So we know he definitely had some connection issues earlier on, and just backing up the Vidane.shop instant replay. And oof, as we saw it, as it was rewinding, definitely a hard hit. We'll give it to you in real time. There you see the 17 of Brad Hayes right in front of the Sheriff of Gammon. He scrapes the wall there, tries to correct it again, and flapjacks that outside wall and points it in the wrong direction, and you can see some smoke comes up, but he does call for a quick tow, so they throw the caution there. Looks like we're going to have 45 laps to go. Dave Cassidy still the leader after those pit stops, so everybody comes down. John Fitzpatrick as well. Kyle Gammon, the Sheriff, running 3rd. Chris Roma 4th. Mark Williams 5th. Wade Craswell 6th. Brett Suggs has moved himself into 7th position. Nick Noggle 8th. Mike Rhino 9th. Mike Alexander 10th. If we ended it now, that championship would go to the number 33, but we still got 45 laps to go here.
Yeah, this is going to get very, very interesting for the final 45 laps or so of this race. You have the drivers who were able to take advantage of the green flag pit strategy that are now at the front of this field. Dave Cassidy, John Fitzpatrick, Kyle Gammon. Those drivers now on fresher equipment up at the front of the field, and they are going to try to steal the victory away from some of these front guys that have been up in this race from its entirety. And now things obviously taking a dramatic twist for the championship as well. Brett Suggs right back in the mix of trying to be able to win this thing. This is going to be good. Very fun to watch. Got some final adjustments to the lineup going on, so they've extended this caution flag by 1 lap. We will go green with 43 laps to go. Dave Cassidy, John Fitzpatrick are going to be on the front row, and right behind them in row number 2 are a couple of lapped cars. Actually, there's quite a few lap cars in between position 2 and 3, so very strange how this is all lining up right now with the way that this has fallen and where lap traffic is compared to the leaders.
We can see lights back on in the iRacing Mustang pace car, so we're going to sort things back out here, but up front, still Dave Cassidy holding on to the lead, John Fitzpatrick 2nd, and we can see Brett Suggs now up to the 4th position. Mike Alexander back in the 7th, so it appears we're going to have 10 cars on the lead lap, and that's the less cars on the lead lap, the better it is for Mike Alexander, as he has less cars that he has to kind of deal with as far as that championship goes between he and Brett Suggs. Lights are back on in the pace car here, so we'll see if we can figure out what it is that's happening here.
Yeah, trying to tune into the communication going on now between race officials and the drivers, and they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that this lineup is correct and making it as normal and competitive as possible. It's throwing me off quite a bit how many lapped cars are in between the 2nd place driver, John Fitzpatrick, and 3rd place, Wade Craswell, in the 67. I can see at least, I think it's 6 lapped cars in between 2nd and 3rd right now. This is very, very strange, and Matthew Barkhouse is saying he's a lap down now after making a pit stop, which he was not a lap down before the caution flag came out, and we're going to go green. This is how we're going to run it.
Just going to send it. That's big championship implications there, but you can see great start from the 13 and the 78. They are gone. John Fitzpatrick going to look down low for the lead. Nothing there. Dips back behind in the tire tracks on number 13, and it's a little bit of a gaggle cars there for the 3rd or 4th position, but still Dave Cassidy up front.
Cassidy and Fitzpatrick trying to run away from the field. Lots of lap traffic in between these guys. Third place now is the 33 of Brett Suggs. He has gotten around Wade Cresswell, and now Suggs is trying to feed his way through all of this lap traffic and try to close in on those top two. We mentioned that Matthew Barkhouse off of the lead lap. Something funky happening under that caution flag to put him a lap down, and this has put Brett Suggs in huge control of the championship battle. 38 laps to go, and we've got a couple cars in front of Suggs are in the outside wall. Craig Tully and Tan Woolridge, they gather it back up. Suggs is able to sneak on by, and we stay green.
Scary moment for Suggs, especially being that he's got an entire lap on the championship contender, Matthew Barkhouse. He wants to win this race. He wants to try and close in on Fitzpatrick. He wants to try and get it past Dave Cassidy, but he needs to keep that car in good condition. He needs to make sure that he clicks off all of his laps here. Lap number 215 in the books. We're going 250 the distance with a couple of attempts of green light checkers if we need them. But Brett Suggs currently running in the third position. Matthew Barkhouse under after that caution. There you see him on your screen. Number 15, a lap down, running in 15th position. So, holy moly, Kyle.
Yeah, this is wild how things have shaped out after that caution flag. What a terrible time for the yellow flag to come out. And you know that if you're Matthew Barkhouse in that 15 machine, he's got to be a little steaming right now. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do to get a caution flag, get back on the lead lap, and trying to get an answer from race control there before we went back to green flag and never did. So kind of just stuck in the situation that we're in right now and logging these laps, getting down towards the finish, and we've got trouble. Cars spinning around in turn number 2. It is once again the 29 of Daniel Vitch. He goes around, looks like a single car incident. He had some help from the 34 of Mike Rhino, but very similar looking to the first time he spun there in turn number 2. Just does a quick 180, faces the wrong way, and caution flag number 3 is out.
And we're going to take a look at the Vidane.shop instant replay. We'll do it a little slow motion style here. There you can see the 29 of Danny Vitch getting into the wall just a little bit. And as Mike Rhino, looks like he was trying to go up high, didn't quite think better of it, tried to go low, and just wasn't able to make a decision quite quick enough. And you can see he gets into the back bumper of the 29 and sends him on around. And like I said, Kyle, kind of a lazy self-spin, doesn't back it in the wall, does a great job getting that thing stopped and outside of the racing groove, but grabs a gear, gets it going again. 2 laps down still, though, running in the 19th position. Not really much progress he can make from there, but there are maybe 3 drivers ahead of him that are still 2 laps down as well. So has an opportunity to try and maybe go up to about 16th, but not the night that the number 29 was looking for. So we'll take a quick second here just to kind of gather our thoughts and let the drivers kind of gather their thoughts and let race control gather their thoughts, and maybe we can put them together and figure out what went down there on the last caution. But Dave Cassidy still up front, John Fitzpatrick in second. There you see him, the number 78 on your screen. Brett Suggs, the number 33. He is in that third position. And some lap cars in between here. Nick Noggle, we go back 2 cars, the 08. He's running in the 4th position. Right behind him, there you see Mike Alexander, Magic Mike, he's running 5th. Mike Rhino in 6th. And then we go back 2 more cars to the 83. He's running in 7th. The Sheriff, Kyle Gammon, back even further there in the 98. He's running in 8th. The 9th position right behind him. Lots of damage in the front end of the 42 of Mark Williams, but he is running in the 9th position and rounding out the top 10. There you see him, the 67 of Wade Craswell. So quite a bit of a jumble up here. We can see the 57 of John Byron, I believe, is going to get the wave around, put him closer to the lead lap, but not quite there. Looking like 11 drivers on the lead lap. Travis Roma in 11th being the last car on that lead lap.
So I was tuning into the communication there under this caution period, and I've got an answer as to what has happened with Matthew Barkhouse. So under the previous caution flag, the pace car came around him while he was on pit road. He would have been fine to take the wave around after the fact, it sounds like, but he had a blend line penalty. He did not blend when he was supposed to. They gave him an EOL and eliminated him from being able to take the wave around. So he is a lap down, and it is going to stand. So this is going to be a very, very tough final 28 laps for Matthew Barkhouse if he's going to try to win this championship.
Now, what do you do if you're Brett Suggs? You obviously want to win the race. Currently in second. Gets around John Fitzpatrick, no problem. Mike Alexander right behind him. We saw Brett Suggs already drove around Dave Cassidy about 20, 30 laps ago to get on the lead lap. So we know Brett Suggs is quicker, but do you risk it, Kyle? Do you try and get around? Do you push the issue to try and get the lead? Or do you just kind of hang out in second and kind of win the war?
I don't think there's a chance in hell that Brett Suggs is going to sit for second. He is going to try to steal all the glory tonight. He is going to go for it all. He's going to try to go to victory lane, win the championship, and try to stand on the top of the pedestal as the big victor for the night. He is all over the back bumper there of Dave Cassidy, trying his best to get around. Mike Alexander is right there in position number 3, just about 3 or 4 car lengths behind that 33 car. 25 laps to go remain in this RBR Maritime iRacing season. Dave Cassidy leading Brett Suggs, who is in full control of the championship lead. Can he get around and steal the win as well?
Matthew Barkhouse still running in at the 13th position. He's got Greg Tully right in front of him, and there you can see that's the battle for position. That's the battle for the last car, or the first car, 1 lap down. 15 has to do everything he can to try and get around league administrator Craig Tully there, the big boss man there in the number 5. And you can see he's doing everything he can to try and get to the back bumper, but it doesn't look like he's quite got enough to get around him. But if the caution were to come out and Barkhouse were able to get around the 5, that would at least put him on the lead lap, and he would still have to get around 9 more cars to get up to Brett Suggs, but it would at least give him a fighting chance. And there you can see he tries to peek down low. Tully slams the door, but he leaves it open coming out of turn number 2, and just Barkhouse thinks better of it. He's going to shoot on the high side, just doing everything he can to try and get around that 5 car to try and be the first car 1 lap down.
Battle for the lead is spicing up. Brett Suggs underneath of Dave Cassidy for the top spot. He's got the preferred line. The 13 goes to the top side. Mike Alexander trying to follow suit off of turn number 4. Can he clear him? He will. Brett Suggs to the race lead once again here at Five Flag Speedway. Mike Alexander trying to do the same thing, get around the 13 and put himself back into position number 2. He does so, and now here comes Nicholas Noggle. The freight train has arrived at the station that Dave Cassidy is at, and it is rolling right on through. From 1st to 4th, Dave Cassidy goes back to position number 4, falls in line right up in front of John Fitzpatrick, and now he's got 3 very fast race cars he's going to have to try to track down if he wants to get the lead back.
Brett Suggs still holding on to that lead, about 3 car lengths over Mike Alexander there in the 75. Couple of the fastest drivers we've seen here in the RBR Maritime League, as well as Tim's Coder Motorsports in the special events and the weekly racing series. These 2 drivers definitely know each other very, very well. They've raced each other many, many times. They've battled each other for this very same lead position in many, many races. Brett Suggs has it. Mike Alexander wants it. Brett Suggs really wants to hold on to that lead. He wants to hold on to at least a good finish. Matthew Barkhouse, he has to finish 3 positions ahead of Matthew Barkhouse to win this championship, and Matthew Barkhouse is trapped a lap down after a late race penalty coming off the pit road. We heard from Kyle, found out from race officials, got a blend line penalty, ended up getting himself put on the end of the longest line and was not able to take the wave around under a couple of cautions ago, and the penalty stuck. And there you can see all over the back bumper of Craig Tully trying to get around that 5 car to see if he can get the first car 1 lap down, but just doesn't look like he's got the tires, doesn't look like he's got the car to get around Craig Tully. And time's running out, Kyle. Brett Suggs is checking out, and you can see right now we join the lead again, and there's 5 or 6 car lengths over that 75 car.
14 laps to go for Brett Suggs. The gap back to Mike Alexander is just about half a second right now. You know that Suggs is putting all of his effort into that 33 machine, trying to just run away from Mike Alexander. Hope that the caution flag doesn't come out. He doesn't have to worry about any late race restarts. Just hoping that this is it, the final run of the season, to take him to victory lane and take him to the championship. And there it is. The caution flag comes out. Caution flag is out for the 4th time tonight. We've got a big mess on the back straightaway going into turn number 3. Caden Tufts is upside down in that number 88 machine. Craig Tully is involved. Matthew Barkhouse gets a piece of it. Mark Williams, all kinds of cars in trouble here on the back stretch, Paul. Things have just gone from bad to horrible for Matthew Barkhouse.
Yeah, definitely not where you want to be as the championship leader, and we're going to take it real time here. There you can see the 15 of Barkhouse on the back bumper, gets in the back of the 5 car, shoots him on a round, and then the 42 gets in the back of the 15. So that is I get the frustration with the 15 car. We're going to take another look at it here in slow motion, and you can see the 15 just closes right up in the back bumper of the 5. You can see almost kisses the wall as he crosses the line, arcs that corner real nice, and looks like he backed up just a little bit too much there, but you can see it again, just gets into the back bumper of the 5, sends him on around, and 42 really had nowhere to go, sends the 15 around, so 15 still going to be trapped a lap down, and we've got less than 10 laps to go here on the restart. Red Suggs leading the race, so man, oh man, it's a rough night here in the 15 camp for sure.
Yeah, I think that that may be the final nail in the coffin for Matthew Barkhouse with the amount of laps that are left, with the situation that he is in. I just don't see a way that Matthew Barkhouse is going to be able to win this championship. Brett Suggs in the golden position right now, less than 10 laps to go. He's in the lead. He's going to control this restart. He's just going to try to cap it off with a victory and go to victory lane with a race trophy and a championship trophy as well. He's got some strong competition behind him, though, so it's not going to be a very easy victory to deal with. Mike Alexander second, Nicholas Noggle up to third. We've seen how strong those two cars have been tonight. I think Suggs is a little bit better, but they could definitely contend for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We can take just taking a look at the point standings right now, and we can see Matthew Barkhouse came in as the points leader. New Smyrna, race number 1, finished 4th. Lanier, race number 2, 1. Nashville, 3rd. The Bull Ring, 1st. Richmond, 2nd. And he is 2nd in the point standings right now. Brett Suggs came in as 2nd. Had a pair of second place finishes and a win for the first 3 races. The Bull Ring, he finished 4th, and last week at Richmond finished 7th. But it all came down to it here tonight. Brett Suggs had to finish 3 positions ahead of Matthew Barkhouse, and Matthew Barkhouse trapped a lap down, and there's a couple of cars in front of him to try and get that wave by. So even if we did get a quick caution here, Kyle, we'd have to restart and he'd have to pass a whole bunch of cars. I don't think it's possible. There you see Mike Alexander trying to get low as quickly as he could. Didn't quite happen, and you can see they're side by side in turn number 1, but still give that position to Brett Suggs. Man, oh man, Mike Alexander dipping down low. He's going to try and at least get the win here to maybe spoil the party just a little bit, but Brett Suggs hanging tough on the outside.
Beautiful crossover move for Mike Alexander to get underneath of Brett Suggs, and these two fighting hard for the race win. That outside line has not been usable all race long. Brett Suggs trying to see if there's something there now. Oh, they're nearly making contact with each other. 5 laps to go. Alexander gets sideways off of turn number 4. Can Suggs clear him? They nearly touch again. Hard-fought racing for the race lead with a handful of laps to go. Suggs is trying to come down. Mike Alexander is still there. He's trying to shove him up the hill. Mike Alexander realizes that this is the championship leader at the moment, but he doesn't care. He wants to win the final race of the season.
Using every inch of the racetrack that he possibly can. Mike Alexander trying to get around Brett Suggs. Brett Suggs holding on to the outside line. Has the championship just about won. All he has to do is hold on to a lead lap finish and finish 3 spots ahead of Mike Alexander's brother Matthew Barkhouse, who's trapped a lap down, currently in the 13th position, still side by side as they head into turn number 2. Popsicle stick's going to be in the air as they cross the stripe. 2 laps to go here, Kyle. Who is going to win this race?
Everybody lining up on the bottom side. Brett Suggs is not going to find a hole down there. He's going to have to try to make the top side work. Alexander just about clear. Can he do it going into turn number 3? Not quite. Suggs will not go down without a fight. White flag, one more time around the 5 Flag Speedway. Mike Alexander has the lead. Suggs finds a hole behind him. He drops down into second. He's on the back bumper and boots Mike Alexander. 3 wide, nearly 4 wide, coming off of turn number 2. Nicholas Noggle finds a hole, takes over the race lead. He leads 1 lap tonight, and it's the most important one. Nicholas Noggle steals the victory at 5 Flag Speedway. Oh my goodness! Brett Suggs tried to get aggressive on the back bumper to move Mike Alexander out of the way, and Alexander turns him on the back straightaway. What a finish. Noggle goes to victory lane, and the second place finish is going to be good enough for Brett Suggs to win the championship. How about that one, Paul? All the green flag laps that we just saw in a dramatic, wild finish to close it out.
Didn't quite win the battle, but definitely won the war. Unofficially, Brett Suggs, your Season 3 RBR Maritime champion. Nicholas Noggle leading the very last lap, the only lap all night long, as he burns him down on the front stretch. And we are going to check with race officials here after we talk to the top 3 finishers here tonight to make sure that we are, in fact, talking about the Season 3 champion, Brett Suggs. But there you can see a little bit of burnout action from Nicholas Noggle. Always fun to see him win, and you can definitely tell he's excited. These drivers are pumped up. The fans are pumped up. Everybody's pumped. I'm pumped up. You're pumped up. This is great. Great finish here. And taking a quick look down there in victory lane, looks like you've caught up with our winner, Nick Noggle.
My, oh my, Nick Noggle, what a finish, my man. A very strong run for you in that 08 machine tonight. You took advantage of pit strategy there during that mega long green flag run, got the caution you needed to, and it looked like you were going to be settling in for a solid podium, and then things get wild, and now you're here in victory lane.
Yeah, no, that I wish I could say it was a strategy run, but I accidentally didn't take enough fuel, which kind of helped me out there on that long run. I was praying for the caution. It showed up, and at the end there, I was just kind of settling in. I was watching the two of them fight, and then it was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. One of them's going to loop each other, and sure enough, we go down in. They try and stick their nose in where it wasn't supposed to be, and ended up working out for me.
Nick, talk us through that green flag run there in the middle of the race. Probably the longest green flag run that we have seen on Verdane TV history. Very, very unique, to say the least. It didn't really look like the track was very versatile tonight. It was pretty much ring around the rosy right at the bottom of the track. And green flag pit stops on a short track, that's not very normal. What was that like for you?
Yeah, no, that was really weird, to be honest. We had a real good short run car, but the long run goes on and the car would start to get tight and they'd start to reel us back in. But luckily, the green flag pit stops weren't too big of a deal. Getting used to running the cup cars in a different league, it was just kind of I was expecting it, and when it came, I was kind of lucky how it played out.
Not involved in the championship hunt tonight, but still a victory in the final race of the season. How important is it for you to cap off the season and take the last trophy of the season?
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not gonna lie. It's always nice to come out and beat these guys. First time doing it. I've been really, really struggling getting that podium, and honestly, it's just awesome. I'm real happy.
It was one of the wildest short track finishes that we have seen here on Verdane TV. A beautifully performed move to slice through the traffic, slice through the sliding race cars. Nick Noggle, you go to victory lane tonight at Five Flag Speedway. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, awesome. I gotta thank everyone that makes this happen on the real car and in here. I gotta thank Brycon, Mobile One, and Vinyl Effects. I mean, we changed up some stuff on the car the last couple years, and we've only been better. It's awesome.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner of tonight's season finale for the RBR Maritime iRacing Series finale here at Five Flag Speedway. The 08 machine of Nicholas Noggle, able to slice through some sliding race cars on the final lap of the race and stole the victory. Didn't lead any laps but the final one, the most important one, and he goes to victory lane.
Awesome. Yeah, I also gotta thank the boys that put this on. I mean, it's awesome. They do an awesome league here.
We're going to take a quick look here. We're still waiting for the official word, but we are going to talk to second place finisher. Unofficially, the champ is here. Brett Suggs, the number 33, led a whole bunch of laps, 102 to be exact here. Led up until that very last lap before Nick Noggle got around after that amazing last lap racing. Brett, adrenaline's got to be pumping. I know the heart rate's jacked up. We're excited here. The fans are excited. Talk to us about your race, man.
Yeah, I mean, the whole race just trying to buy my time. You know, it's a 250 lap race, and you got to take it easy. You know, you don't want to burn this stuff up. You got some people unhappy at the finish there, but and no intention was it for me to wreck Mike. That's what he wants to say. That's fine. It was a racing deal. He was going to run me hard. I was going to run him hard. I didn't turn him. He made his own mistake. So that's just kind of how it wrapped up there in the end. You guys know how I race. I don't race people to wreck people. And then you got some people that, they say they're going for the win. They're going to do every dirty thing they can to do it. But still happy, second place finish. Congrats to Nick. I mean, he was right there at the right time to get himself a victory. That's huge. Just happy about the championship, trying to run clean, keep these consistent finishes going. Wish we could have battled with Matt there at the end. I saw him make a mistake coming out of pit road, and I knew that was going to bite him big, and then he ended up going a lap down there. But just all part of it, got to put a whole race together, especially 250 laps, and lucky enough we were able to put it together.
Talk to us about the adrenaline there on the last lap, battling hard with the 75 side by side. A lot of trading paint action there. We always see that 33 car race clean, no matter what league you're running in, whether it's here in the RBR Maritimes or over at the Tim's Corner Motorsports, the special events, the weekly racing series, all that stuff. And we see the side by side battle on our screen right now between you and Magic Mike Alexander there in the 75. And just the last lap, man. Just talk to us about the emotion, the adrenaline, all the feelings that are going through your head. You know that you want to get the race win, but you know that you can't wreck the race car because you need to stay 3 positions ahead of Barkhouse. Like you said, he got trapped a lap down there, but you really can't take too many chances there. Just walk us through that last lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I already knew that I was in a good enough gap between myself and Barkhouse that I didn't need to win. I made a mistake last season, which, whether it was my fault, Mike's fault, whoever, we talked about it, we worked it out. But I knew I was already in contention, had a good spot to already hold on to the championship, So going into the last lap, of course, I was going to run the top side as hard as I could. I knew that I probably wouldn't be able to get back down to the bottom because Nick was right there as well, doing a great job keeping up there. I wasn't even going to try to cross under him. I know he was driving me up every single turn, every single opportunity he had, but we didn't make contact, and then he hit the inside wall in the last lap. That allowed me to tuck in line, and then just, I had pressure from behind, nothing Nick could have done. I mean, Mike, he hit the inside wall. He swerved up the track, lost some speed. We all got to his bumper. He went around, and he did a nice job saving it, but just unfortunate. Can't have people happy at the end of that deal.
And we're joined here in the commentary booth by race officials and league owner Craig Tully. Did we get the points officially tabulated? Have we got a champion here, Craig Tully?
Yes, sir. Brett Suggs, Season 3 champ. Congrats, Brett. I believe Barco still would finish second, and we still got to do some math for third, I believe.
So that is it. You didn't win the battle here tonight, Brett, but definitely won the war here. Season 3 champion, and man, there's a lot of logos, a lot of names on that 33 car. That gorgeous paint scheme, by the way. Man, just walk us through. Let us know who makes this happen here in sim racing, real racing, family, friends, everybody that helps you out here. The floor's all yours, man. Champion, Season 3.
Yeah, it feels great to get some redemption after last year, the way that ended up, but. First and foremost, shout out to everybody that tuned in my stream here at Facebook, Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing LLC. They saw a battle, they were cheering me on all the way, so definitely cool to have their support. Shout out Matthew Davey, he was asking for a little shout out there, so shout out to him. And Craig for inviting me to be a part of this team and race with these guys. Always have a good time. So definitely looking forward to running some more with these guys in the future. And of course, we have the in real life sponsors. We've got the custom mat code. Check them out. Custom floor mats. You can cop yourself your very own logo custom handmade floor mat at thecustommatcode.com. We also have Lake Norman Power Cleaning, Brett Suggs Racing Marketing LLC, everybody that makes this deal happen. You guys for putting up on the broadcast. It's always a blast to go back and watch the replay each and every time. And we're also looking to add some partners for this coming race season. So anybody wants to be a part of a race, competitive Southeast Super Truck team, we got proposals ready. We'll get them sent out. Shoot me a message on Facebook.
Vidane.
Yeah, we got some of these 6x6 Vidane TV stickers, so we might have to talk off air about that. But seriously, anybody out there, if you didn't catch any of that and you want to jump on a very quick truck, Brett Suggs, very, very good personality, super clean racer in real life and in the sim here. and championship contender, championship winner here in the RBR Maritimes. If you want to shoot us a message on Verdane TV's Facebook page, feel free to, and we can pass the message along and get you hooked up with Brett Suggs. But Brett, congratulations again, man. Second place here tonight, enough to get you the championship.
Thanks, Paul.
And Kyle, not done yet. We've got our third place finisher, John Fitzpatrick, made his way all the way up from the back of the pack all the way up to third position. You've caught up with him a little bit further down pit road.
Yes, sir. Down here with John Fitzpatrick, third place finisher on tonight. John, we didn't really talk about you too much in the first half of this race, but you were the last driver to make a pit stop during that long green flag run and that pit sequence. And after that, you became a tremendous factor in this race. What about that pit stop brought you into the limelight for this finish?
Good evening, gentlemen. Yeah, so that was my strategy going into the race. I was taking it easy coming out of the corners for the first 100, 150 laps whenever we had to pit. Like I was half throttle down the middle of the straightaway, really trying to stretch my fuel out, and then really trying to minimize the time I had on pit road. So if you saw, like I probably entered the pits, I don't know, like I was like 13th, 14th way back, or maybe even 10th. But then, kind of everyone pitted. I led a lap or two, and then I had to pit. But I took two right side tires and just the right amount of fuel to kind of hopefully wait out a caution, and that strategy paid off.
It absolutely did. You had a very fierce piece at the end of this race. Things getting very crazy there on that final lap. You had to use the apron to try to avoid it and keep yourself in control. Take us through that last lap battle there and getting through all of that.
Yeah, geez, I was enjoying watching the race more than I was racing. Like I saw a Rhino coming up behind me, so I was trying to, fend him off as best I could, and still yet watch the battle up ahead. Like Brett and Mike were trading paint back and forth. I mean, it's too bad that it ended the way it did, but I mean, it typically does whenever you have two good racers going that hard for limited real estate, right? But it was a great race to watch, and still had a shot on the last lap. Had Nick or the 33 got caught up a little better, could have finished first, but I'll take a third this evening.
So it's a third place run tonight. The season ends here for the RBR Maritime iRacing Group. What's next for you? What do we got on the agenda here for the iRacing for that 78 machine?
Oh, I dare say I'll be doing Tim's tomorrow night, and then whatever else Craig and Tim put on, I'll try to do as many of those races as I can, kind of getting ready for the All-Star showcase on his end coming up here, I think in April.
It's definitely getting to that time, just about 2 months away from the TCM All-Star Showcase. And this driver right here, definitely going to be a threat to mess with in that event and throughout the rest of the TCM iRacing season up until that point. John, third place tonight, who would you like to thank for the run?
Well, first, I'd like to thank my sponsor, so new to the car, Saltwater Design Co. They're a design company at a PEI. They make handmade wood signs and whatever else you need built for around the house to kind of spruce things up during the pandemic. Definitely check them out on Facebook, give them a like, and definitely appreciate having them on the car. And as well, shout out to Brent and Craig for putting the series on. Appreciate that, and for you guys for filming the whole thing and commenting on it.
So there are your thoughts from third place finisher John Fitzpatrick tonight. A strategic move on pit road puts him into the picture, and he's able to survive the last lap chaos to speak with us here at the bottom step of the podium. Well, Paul, what a tremendous race to end this season. Lots of green flag racing, some late race drama, a wild finish. I don't really think that there's much more that you could have asked for to conclude this RBR Maritime iRacing League season.
Whew, says you. I need a beer. Absolutely intense racing. Great run here. 250 laps here at Five Flags Speedway from the Dave B. Macfarlane Enterprises jumping on board, sponsoring the longest race of the season here. Man, from single car qualifying all the way through 250 laps here. A long night, but an entertaining night to say the least. And we still have Craig Tully hanging out here in the production trailer. You got to be happy with tonight's race. A very, very good showing here from your guys.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped that it ran green. 250 laps. It would be a long night if you start, rolling the cautions off. But I wasn't expecting that. I'm fairly sweaty right now, and I cracked a cold one, and I'm good to go now. Enjoyed Tim's races, and really like to thank you guys. You guys make it look professional. Really enjoy watching them afterwards. You guys do a great job. Yeah, I got to say thanks to all our sponsors. These guys, a lot of returnees from season 2, some new ones. Jamie, JPB Construction, Clark Electric came on for 2 races. Vino's Truck and Auto sponsors bonuses and a race. Apex Tire, and Dave R. Macfarlane Enterprises for the last one. And all the bonuses, Brett Suggs, Xander Signs. Barcos actually won the best looking car, so congrats to him. And yeah, congrats to Brett as our champ. Things ahead for us, we're probably going to move into just some big one-off races, get some sponsors for it, do some qualifying nights, kind of roll out of the series for a little bit, just do one-offs and hopefully work with you guys.
Now, we've had a couple of fans throughout the night here asking, both YouTube and Facebook chat, that you guys do run every Tuesday night, last race of the season here, so we're probably going to take a few Tuesdays off. But how do drivers out there in the sim racing world or even the real racing world get involved with RBR?
Yeah, for sure. I should have said that. Our large races or the future bigger events that we're going to put on, we're going to open it up. This was invite only. We tried to keep a smaller field to, keep the racing clean, and it worked out fairly well. But yeah, we're going to open it up. Facebook, just search RBR iRacing, add us on there. Yeah, that's probably it on Facebook, or on iRacing. You can just search our league. I'm going to switch it over to recruiting. Might have a few recruitment races coming up, so just search RBR Maritime iRacing, and we'll come up.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic race here tonight and a fantastic 6-race season, and pretty cool to be able to crown a champion, and pretty awesome that you guys are opening up to other drivers. It'll be exciting to see if we can maybe get some new faces in here and kind of run up with the old dogs in the league.
Yeah, we might have to try and get some Americans to help Brett out, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's Craig Tully, league administrator here for the RBR Maritime group, and man, Kyle, what a great race! Lots of green flag laps. You counted on all 10 fingers and toes, or all 20 fingers and toes, how many laps we went green there on that long run? It was over 150 laps, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it was somewhere between 140 and 150. We went green after the first caution at the completion of lap 52, and we just about made it to 200. But I think it was by the time that caution came out. So nearly 150 laps of green flag racing there on that run, which well over half of the race. It just, as we said, there were a lot of things to give credit to how good these guys are, and if that green flag run isn't the biggest one, I don't really know what is. To have 22 cars running that many laps green flag on a half-mile short track, it's not easy. I'm sure that they were all very relieved to get a break with that caution flag. Just truly impressive to see all of that green flag racing, and it really led for a great overall show.
Absolutely, and man, we got some crazy stuff, crazy exciting stuff coming up here at VEIN TV. We kind of alluded to it earlier on in the season. We got a little bit of a makeover coming. Should have some final design approvals by this Friday, maybe Saturday. So we're really looking forward to that. And we got some cool stuff. The merchandise table is open, VEIN.shop. Get yourself a hat, a t-shirt, a hooded sweatshirt, anything like that. And we do also have a new associate sponsor that's going to be jumping on board here at VEIN TV, just kind of waiting for a package to come in the mail, and well, I'll be debuting that particular sponsor over on my Twitch channel, Strictly94, so if you want to give that a quick follow, and when we go live this weekend, at some point, once that package comes in, we'll be debuting that sponsor, and man, I'm pumped for it, very, very excited for it, but just taking a quick look here at the upcoming events here for VEIN TV tomorrow night. Some doubleheader action. TCM, Tim's Corner Weekly Racing Series at Nashville Fairgrounds tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And right after that, the Fatheads Cup Series at 9:15. They're going to be running at Kansas tomorrow night, I believe. We'll have to double check on that, but that's going to be a 9:15 start time. And then Thursday night, another doubleheader. Eastbound Esports returns here to us. I believe we're going to be running the Phoenix Legacy track. And as soon as that wraps up, that's going to be starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. When that wraps up, sliding on into a Tim's Corner Motorsports special event. So a doubleheader action going on there. And we're actually off Friday and Saturday for the first time in a very, very long time. Sunday night, Sim Racing Unleashed returns. They just debuted at Richmond this past Sunday. Kind of a caution-filled race, but really looking forward to this Sunday's race, a little bit bigger track. These guys are running at Kansas on Sunday. Not sure where Fatheads is. We're going to have to check their website out. But Sim Racing Unleashed racing at Kansas on Sunday night at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. There you see the fireworks going off in the background here at Five Flags. Kind of scared me just a little bit. But and then another doubleheader on Monday night, Tim's Corner Live. Going to be episode number 3. A little deal that Tim and I have been working on the past couple of weeks, and going to be paying attention to the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page to find out who's going to be a guest Monday night. And they just announced a Maritime Street Stock League, so check that out if you missed it. It's the replays on Vidane TV, as well as Tim's Corner Motorsports. Lots of the Maritime tracks kind of working together for a street stock package, and I'm still trying to get a hold of that rules package to see if maybe one of those rented race car cars can make their way up to possibly 660. Speedway 660 is only an 8-hour drive, so we'll have to look into that just a little bit. And I can actually see Brent Roy's ears perking up in the background just a little bit. But right after that, the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series. Those guys had a fantastic race last Monday night at Homestead at 9:15. We're going to be watching them once again. Lots of stuff coming on Vidane TV here in the future. Check out Vidane.net for all the news stories from our leagues, and be sure to check out the Vidane.net/events to get all of the calendar events here in the next couple of months. We are booked completely solid for at least 4 shows a week throughout the month of May here, and excited for the 2021 season. Lots of sim racing action going on. The real racetracks are starting to open up just a little bit, and we're getting ready to wave that green flag in the real racing season as well. So lots of stuff coming on. Want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the good stuff. Get us on all the social media outlets. Vidane TV. Give us a like, give us a share, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Let your friends know that you watched some entertaining racing here called Internet Racing, and you saw it on Vidane TV Live. So we are going to shut it down here. Thanks, everybody here from Vidane TV, from the RBR Maritime Group, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Kyle Young up here in the booth, Craig Tully, and everybody here at RBR Maritime. Congratulations to Nicholas Noggle winning the race. Brett Suggs winning season number 3's championship. Great race, great championship, great season, great night. We're going to catch you guys on the flip side. When we do, we're going to be doing it live. Have yourselves a fantastic night.